Good morning, my Teaserking family. How's everybody today? No action last night as there was no football at all. And just getting ready for this week. There's two quarterbacks we're waiting to hear on, Tagliabue and Lamar Jackson. I'm not sure. Both of them are listed as doubtful. On covers, Lamar's listed as out. Tagliabue, I think, listed as out, but on the other, so we don't know. It's just something you Google. Is Lamar Jackson playing? It doesn't matter. They're going to get killed either way. And then, so we will see. So, first thing we'll do is I've updated my stats. Let's look at the new line. If we have a new line, I did see a new line this morning. So it's like wake up, check the line, check my email. Frisco, 9.5, 42.5. Down from 10. San Diego's gone up to 2.5 now. I liked him at 4.5. I don't like him as much, 3.5, 47.5. Wow, Buffalo's went up to 13.5 against Tagliabue is not playing because it was 9.5 this morning and then 43.5. So this looks like Tagliabue is out. Minnesota 3, 48.5. Cincinnati 7.5, 41.5. Maybe Lamar's out. And then the last but not least, we've got Dallas 2.5, 45.5. That hasn't changed. So I would think Tagliabue is out for the line to jump 3 points on a Wednesday. Let's see if it tells us here. So if we go into Miami injury, Tagliabue has been ruled out heading into the wild. So you don't have him. You got Teddy the Bridgewater. Let's see, Teddy. He was on the injured list, but let's see if we still see him there. I assume he's playing. Yeah, he's not on the injured list. Buffalo really doesn't have any injuries to the key players. Jacksonville, so why is this line moving? San Diego. Bosa's he's on here probable with the groin, and I know he played Sunday, so Williams is questionable with the back to wide receiver. It won't matter. So we're going to see Jacksonville against a good quarterback. So let's run through how to pick the game by looking at common opponents, right? Lawrence questionable with the toe, has been questionable with the toe the last 10 weeks, so that's bullshit. So let's go to Jacksonville. So we want Jacksonville against a good quarterback, which is hard to find. Tennessee, no quarterback. Houston, no quarterback. The Jets, no quarterback. Dallas, no quarterback. Tennessee again. Against Detroit with a average quarterback, 40-14. Hey, Nick, good morning. Yeah, I see he's been ruled out. Not sure if I like Buffalo Lane, the 2.5 now. Should be a winner, but liked it better at 10. Yeah, but it's not a surprise. Tagliabue hasn't played the last 2 or 3 games. Your problem here is Buffalo's mighty defense that is non-existent. So even with Bridgewater, he'll move the ball a little. Your over-under is only 43.5. Over 33.5 is probably not bad with Bridgewater. But yeah, 3.5 is a tough number in a teaser, in a 10-point teaser. I don't know that Buffalo's 13-point favorites over anybody. I think I'd go to the Niners, Cincinnati, and Tampa maybe, and just get off of Buffalo. Again, this is competition, as we talked about, with other things in economics, and this is one of them. You don't have to play Buffalo. You can certainly play other areas. Or Bridgewater, is he going to light it up? Then you go over on the game because Buffalo is going to score and they have no defense. I think Buffalo kills them. So I think you're okay with 3.5. But anyway, so back to Jacksonville. So let's see. The best game will be Jacksonville-KC. KC beat them 27-17. Against Oakland, they won 27-20. They did play San Diego earlier. It's 29-21 with Philly, but there was 5 interceptions by our guy, Trevor Lawrence. San Diego, they beat 38-10 in San Diego real early, week 3. And San Diego turned the ball over a lot. That's a totally different team now. Indy beat them 34. The Giants without a quarterback 23. Denver with Russell Wilson 21. So if we look at who they beat a bad Oakland team 27-20. They lost to KC, and they got the lucky win against Baltimore. So Baltimore put 27 up on them. Detroit puts up 40 on them. Then Tennessee without a quarterback, Dallas without a quarterback, and the Jets in Houston and Tennessee. So a lot of their wins are against weak quarterbacks. If we look at the KC game, 27-20 against Oakland. Oakland puts up 20. Denver puts up 21 and wins. The Giants 23. So I'm not really sold on Jacksonville against a team with a decent quarterback. So we know what San Diego's about, and that was the only blowout for San Diego the whole year, which we don't really know what happened, but okay. So why is San Diego now a 2.5-point favorite? Did somebody get injured on Jacksonville? Smoot, the defensive lineman, who's really good, is out. Shaquille Griffin's out. Trevor Lawrence, so there was no big injury to Jacksonville that I see that's now creating this line movement. So the line movement's kind of bullshit. Strange spread, 2.5. My spread, Jacksonville -3. So I'm not really sure why San Diego's favored in this game. They have Trevor Lawrence, the greatest quarterback that's ever played. All right, let's go through the line. So I think I did that, right? Yeah. So I've gone through the line. I didn't see any injury. The only other injuries then is Lamar Jackson playing, causing Cincinnati to now go to a 7.5-point favorite from a 6.5-point favorite. And there's a lot of 7s on Cincinnati. Keep that in mind. I'm only reading the first one, but if you go in, you see all the other sports books. That there's a lot of 7s. Cincinnati, no big injury that's new. When I get injured in September or July, I don't care. Nobody really knew. Baltimore, let's see. Lamar Jackson is questionable with the knee, so he's not been ruled out, I don't see. And Huntley's questionable with the shoulder. So you got two injured quarterbacks. So this is a Cincinnati play. So even if Lamar plays, they're not going to beat Cincinnati. And then you're dealing with maybe the third string quarterback like you dealt with yesterday or last week. So let's go to Baltimore. Now this is covers.com. Huntley questionable with the wrist. I don't even know if it's the same injury. Here it says Lamar's out indefinitely, and I think he is out. So it's a question of, is Huntley playing? We will see. So I don't have any major injuries there. So I like Cincy. Very strong home favorite. We go through it. Frisco, Seattle. Well, let's go through the history of that one because they're in the same division. I guess we can go through Cincinnati, Baltimore, but I don't know that it matters without Lamar. So Cincy wins 27-16, and what was actually a close game with the third string quarterback for Baltimore scoring. Baltimore won 19-17, Cincy at home 41-21, Cincy at Baltimore 41-17. Those are basically the Joe Burrow games where Cincinnati kills them. Yeah, Baltimore won big, Burrow comes, and now Cincinnati's won 3 or 4 with the 19-17 loss earlier this year. So let's go to the Frisco-Seattle matchup. Now, again, you don't have Brock Purdy, so it's a whole different ball of wax, which is what the problem is. So Frisco beats them 21-13 with Brock Purdy, 12-15. And then in September, without Brock Purdy, Frisco wins 27-7. Seattle wins at home both games last year, but Frisco had the injuries, even though they made the championship game. That was interesting. So Seattle won the last 4 until this year, and then the Niners beat them 27-7 and 21-13. So Russell Wilson must have liked to run on them because those are all Russell Wilson games. So Frisco wins at home 27-7. I remember I locked Seattle and 14.5 and we lost. And then at Seattle, I think I play Frisco. The spread's just -3, which is strange. And Frisco beats them 21-13. So the game's at Frisco. That's what you have. Anybody else? San Diego, Jacksonville won at San Diego week 3, but they're not common opponents. Miami, Buffalo. Again, you don't have Tagliabue, so it becomes a very different read. And this has been the problem with the trends more this last few years with all the injuries, coaching changes, and quarterback changes. So Buffalo wins 32-29, lane 7. We had Buffalo -1 in a lock. Miami wins at home 21-19. We avoid Buffalo because they're on the road. We don't play them as a weak road favorite. Buffalo wins at Buffalo last year 26-11, and they win in Miami 35-0. And before that, they win the playoff game 56-26 with Tagliabue 31-28. So Buffalo has won 6 out of the last 7. The loser was in Miami on a fluke where Miami holds on to win 21-19. Buffalo's really not playing well. Buffalo at home with Tagliabue 32-29. So that's what I would expect with Tagliabue. Without Tagliabue, I'm still seeing Buffalo in the 30s. So Buffalo scores 32-19 at home, 26 at home, 56 at home, 31. So Buffalo scores at home at Miami 19, 35, 31, 37. So Buffalo scores a lot. Miami's got a very weak defense. So now we are in do we go over or do we take Buffalo based on Tagliabue being out? It's a tough we know Buffalo's playing for the injured guy. A big deal. Like, they need that to be motivated. If the guy didn't get injured, they wouldn't have won last week. Yeah, bullshit. The Giants and Mini, I don't know. Cincy, with Burrow and Tampa Bay, Dallas. I think Tampa Bay wins this game. I think they play it every year, and I think they beat them every year. I know they played it early this year, and Dallas wins 19. Tampa Bay wins 19-3 first week. Last year, Tampa wins 31-29. Dallas wins in Dallas in 18. So we don't care because Brady's not there. So the last two, Tampa Bay 31-29 last year. This year, Tampa Bay 19-3. So Tampa really, this is going to be an under game. Well, not with Prescott. Let's check injuries. Now we know Julio Jones, questionable with a knee. What else is new? The center Jensen, the All-Pro, is questionable with the knee. So I don't know if it says July, so I don't know what that means now. Mike Evans is questionable with an illness. Vita Vea, questionable with the calf. I'm sure he's playing. And that's it. So you really only have Jones and Evans questionable. Let's check Dallas. Hopefully Prescott's playing. We don't want him injured. Linebacker out. Safety out. Defensive tackle out. Cornerbacks out. Linebacker Van Der Esch, questionable with a neck. He's probably not playing. Let's see. Bunch of guys I don't know. So nobody important is really out for Dallas. So let's look at Dallas the last 10 games or so. So if we go back, let's go back to November 1st. Well, they didn't play November. So November 13th. They lose at Green Bay 31-28. They beat Minnie 40-3. They beat the Giants 28-20. They beat Indiana 54-19. They beat Houston by whopping 4. They lose to Jacksonville. They beat Philly. And then they beat Tennessee. And then they get killed by Washington. So what does Tampa Bay have? Tom Brady. So let's go to the Aaron Rodgers game. So against Aaron Rodgers, they lose 31-28. He lights them up. Kirk Cousins 40-3. That's go explain Minnesota getting 3 points when Rodgers gets 31. The Giants put up a 20 on them without a quarterback. Indy, it gets blown out. Houston with Davis Mills puts up 23. Jacksonville with Lawrence gets 3 pick sixes, puts up 40. Against Philly with the backup 40-34. Tennessee without a quarterback 27-13. Washington with the 4th-string quarterback, they lose 26-6. So if you're stupid enough to rest your players against Washington and lose 26-6 and think you're ready for Tampa Bay at Tampa, you're out of your fucking mind. So if I look at the last, let's look at the last 5 games. They lose. Okay, Prescott played and threw a pick 6. Tennessee they beat, no quarterback. Philly, who didn't have Hurts but had Minshew, 40-34. He threw some picks. Jacksonville 40-34. So they're playing 70-point games with Philly, Jacksonville. Houston's a 50. Indy's a 70. The Giants are 48. Dallas is a 59, and Minnie's a 43, even though they scored all the points. So they have not been playing under games. They have been playing over games. The problem is Tampa doesn't have much of an offense. Apparently, Dolphins aren't playing Bridgewater. They're expecting to start Thompson. Okay, so take Buffalo then. So now, if we listen to what Nick's saying and we look at the Miami-Buffalo game. So we look at, what do we look at? We look at the defense. Miami. Now, I wrote the number next to over or under as I updated my stats last night. So when I look at the game, Miami gives up 24 points a game on defense. And they score, and Buffalo gives up 18, which I question because they haven't given up 18 in a month. A lot of injuries on their defense. So they're more of an over. Buffalo is an over. And so if they were playing Cincinnati, I wouldn't look at the 18. I'd call it maybe 25 or Kansas City. Because since they lost Von Miller, they're not an 18. But when you look at 17 weeks and you take the first 10 with Von Miller, the giving up the points, like what did they do last? You know, they gave up 23 to New England. Christ. And the week before, Buffalo, well, they didn't play the freaking Cincinnati game. And then the week before, come on, where are they? The Bears 35-13 without Fields. So they're playing, 50-point games anyway. So the question comes in is, we know Buffalo will score. So let's think of a score. Buffalo will be in the 30s. And the problem, as Nick's pointing out, is Skylar Thompson's not going to get you much. Maybe he gets you 10. So if I get in the 30s with Buffalo, but I can't score with Miami, I got to lay the points. So I lay 7.5 here. If I think Miami's going to score, then I can take the game over more comfortably. Now, the over-under is only 43.5. So I can go 37.5. And I think Buffalo's almost going to get me the 37.5 because it's a playoff game. They're not resting anybody. They're going to play for the injured guy, and they'll all wear number 3, and they'll all cry and make me throw up. But that's what we have. How do we pick apart the game? And not by looking at power rankings or who the sharps are betting on. That I don't believe you can figure out if you wanted to, because who the fuck knows when a sharp? Do you know when I bet? Really? Do I check a box? I'm a sharp. I'm betting. I mean, come on. And it's not by amount, because I could have Nick go make $100,000 bet for us on Buffalo. Oh, he's not a sharp. So you don't know it's a sharp betting or not. I mean, the whole thing's so stupid. See, that's a Bernie Madoff. So this kid comes on trying to tell us he hit 91% and he wants to market and he wants to, he wins every game and da-da-da-da-da. That's a Bernie Madoff, because he no way he did that. When I asked for proof and I said, how are you doing it? He couldn't answer the question. His answer was, I look at how much money's bet and power rankings and how much the betting, how much the people are betting and how much. Did the betting make the Buffalo line go up? No. Vegas said, Tua's out, Bridgewater's out, I'm moving the line from 10 to 13. There probably wasn't a bet made, or by their buddies, I guess, before they raised it. But so being a professional at this, and somebody kind of tries bullshitting me, I don't sit there. Once I hear his reading, now if he said, well, I do all this analytical and da-da-da-da-da, and this is what I found, then I could listen to him a little. But believe me, in all my 50 years of doing this, and I started real young, I figured out every angle you can. So if somebody says, well, I look at time of possession, turnover margin, I go, that's bullshit. That doesn't do anything. Because you can have kickoff returns and pick sixes, and you don't have any time of possession, and you got 28 points. So it doesn't matter. That's not what you look for. And it all comes down to the quarterback and the defense. That's how every game is won. So if you want to bring that shit into here and try to confuse my class, I'm not allowing it. But I'm not stupid. We're not Bernie Madoff people. And the fact that we'll just listen to him and go, oh, he knows what he's doing. I'll give him my money and I'll get 20% on it without knowing what he does. I mean, I couldn't believe when I watched that Bernie Madoff how stupid people are. What do? How do you not ask somebody, all right, so give me $50,000, Nick, and I'm going to make you 20%. And you ask me how, and I'm not going to say it. Well, I just don't worry about it. I'm going to make it for you. And if you press, I'm going to yell at you and go, look, Nick, don't worry, I'm going to make it. Look, I've been making it for these other 5 people. And Nick just blindly gives me the money. Then Nick's to blame if I don't make it for him. But if I do a Bernie Madoff and Bobby gives me 20 grand and I give it to Nick, say, look, here's your return. Nick's happy. So he's telling his friends, and Bobby's waiting for a new guy to come in. That's a pyramid scheme or a scam or whatever Madoff did. But if you guys don't ask me how I'm making you the money, shame on you. But that's why I don't do shit like that. And that's how you spot it. So when some guy comes in and says, oh, I was 13-1 on Saturday. Oh, you picked the Jets to beat Miami. Oh, okay. Yeah. Have a nice day. Goodbye. That's what you've got to does it make sense? As good as I pick, I still had losers. Detroit, Green Bay didn't go over. Now it should have been. They had the touchdown that was called back by the holding penalty, puts us over, but we didn't get it. We were close. But that's the nature of the beast. We can't win every game because of factors that happen in the game that we can't figure. That's why you can't do a math formula, because there's so many variables in the game that now we hit Seattle to beat LA, and even that we had to sweat our ass off to hit. And the Miami under made sense, and Tennessee, Jacksonville made sense, and they came in, and Minnesota came in. But that's the thing. You can only, all right, Cincinnati and Buffalo made sense, and they won. Okay, those two had to win, and they did. But that's what you're looking for, is the Cincinnati and the Buffaloes, right? That's who you want to bet on. The teams with the best team, quarterback, defense, everything else. So that's what you try to do. But that when you hear somebody say, I'm 13-1 and I don't have a system, but you run away from those people. They have to prove it to you. And that's why I'm very assertive on my gold and silver calls, because I know it's the right thing to do, but I need to prove it to you. I don't want to blindly say buy gold and silver. I need to get down to the 10th layer of saying why. Well, they're inflating. They're printing the money, makes gold and silver go up, but the Briggs country will make it go up. But J.P. Morgan, who's a crook, who wants monopolies, wants you to keep buying the money. And the government wants you in the money. So when you try to get into the nth detail, why it hasn't gone up, but why it's going to go up now. And that's really what you're trying to do. Nick, I was skeptical at first, as I am with many things that comes to my money, but Professor has shown me the proof is in the pudding. Well, but Nick's smart. He should be skeptical. Now, the way you're not as skeptical is the more you know me, and Nick's known me for like two and a half years now, or 3 years. He's seen me. We first battled because he wanted to do a math formula, and I go, you can't. I wasn't trying to be mean to Nick. I wasn't trying to insult him. I was trying to say, look, I've been doing this since mid-70s, and there's no way you can fucking do a math formula because there's so many variables. How do you adjust your formula? So let's do a math formula. How do you adjust it for Tagliabue being out? Do you subtract 10 points? The game's at Buffalo. How do you factor in the guy that's injured in the hospital? How does that? It's got to factor in. It's emotional. How do you factor in the fact Von Miller's injured and their defense isn't as strong? But if you look at it, it's an 18 defense, but it really isn't an 18 defense. It's probably a 22 defense. And by that, I mean points given up. So, yes, Nick's right on. He needs to do two things. One, how does he trust the professor? And that's just by hearing me week in and week out. Two, questioning, well, how does he do it? Which I broadly open up and show you how I do it. So there's no mystery how I pick the games. I am very thorough in that. But that's what you're looking for. You have to earn the trust and respect of the people. Now, keep in mind, I'm not selling gold and silver. I don't make it. If Nick goes and buys 10 ounces of silver, or Bobby and all these guys, Phil, they go buy the silver. I don't make a dime. I'm not making anything. I want them to make the money. That's the difference. So I'm here to educate, but I'm here that I want you to make your money. Why do I give my girlfriend in the Ukraine a half ounce of gold and 5 ounces of silver when I meet her? Because I want to protect her. Here you go. Just in case something happens, you have some gold and silver. Because I know something's going to happen. You're in a fucking war. But why do I give her the gold and silver? Because I know it's the best thing to give her. It will protect her. And that's the whole point. So Nick is very smart to question and to don't believe at first. But then you've got to be phase two of Nick, which is, hey, wait a minute. This guy does know what he's talking about. I keep seeing the results. He goes 8-2, 9-1, maybe a 7-3 week every fucking week. I see his picks, and they're there. He's doing what he's telling me because I see him. I see him before the game. They win. We're all happy. We had Seattle. We had TCU over. That was on the site. He bet it. It won. So he's getting the feedback that he needs to go, yeah, this guy's not full of shit. He actually knows what he's doing. But he is questioning it, but he's smart enough to keep an open mind. And that's really the critical point you need to understand. Okay, if Madoff came up to me and he says, I never lose, I would walk away. If he said I do it about 80% of the time, I would look at him and go, how do you do it? And if he couldn't explain the how, I'd get up and walk away. Because you ain't making me 20% if you can't give me the answers. Now, because my background is corporate finance and Austrian economics with a master's in them, and I know them inside out, you can't fuck with me on either area. You can't fuck with me on stocks. You can't fuck with me on gold and silver or the economy. Or if you want to be a Keynesian like these attorneys and talk Keynesian talk, which nobody fucking understands, as soon as you talk it, I know you don't know shit because you can't explain it at the level I explain it to you guys. I'm very good at explaining it at the level of what they're printing money. It's worthless. Do you hear a Keynesian talk like that? Fuck no. They don't explain it so you understand it. I make sure I explain it at a very low level so you get it. And then you can explain, like Bobby, when Bobby gets here. So he goes to the silver store and he goes and his daughter goes with them or his family goes with them. And they're looking at him, and he buys the 20 ounces of silver, and he's all excited. I just bought 20 ounces of silver. You know, fuck. So they're all excited, or he's all excited. I lost my avocado pit. It's a bitch getting him out of the avocado. So Bobby's all excited, but his family doesn't understand. Now, I've explained it to Bobby in a way he can tell his family what's going on, right? So they should be able to understand it because I taught him at a level he should be able to tell his daughter, his cousin, his brother, whoever in the family, this is what you need to do. Even Bobby and his family, they don't trust him. So you've got to do what Nick did, which is you have to be leery, but you have to see it and let it be proven and get the trust. And now he has the trust, but I backed it up with proof. I backed it up he knows me 3 years. I backed it up with results. So when this kid comes on saying I'm 13-1, I want to get a marketing thing. He's asking me for marketing, and then he's asking me for the picks. You're not a customer. Who do you like here? All right, I gave him 3 winners last Saturday. Where's my 20%? What do you think? I'm doing this? If you're going to ask me, I'm going to bet, then I want the percentage of helping you. That's not free, but if you just listen to my picks, you know what I'm doing. It's not difficult. You just don't know how strong or if it's a lock or something. So I'm trying to do both ways. I'm trying to sell, but I'm trying to help people, if they decide. Avocado pit hack. Stick a knife in the pit and twist it out. Easier than using a spoon. Well, I kind of dig around. So I do a dig, and then I put the spoon under and pull it out. I know. It's funny either way. I missed whoever this person is that wants marketing. Seems very sketchy. Oh, he's Canadian, right? Yeah, it was on the other day, and he said he won 13-1. But basically, he thinks he knows how to handicap. But when asked, he sent me an email, and it was just basically, I look at the power ratings, and I look at the betting of the public and the betting of the sharps. And I said that I couldn't pick one winner doing it like that. You don't need to see the money because you see the line move, right? So San Diego went from 1.5 to 2.5. Obviously, there was betting on San Diego, right? It moved up. I don't need a report that says it. I'm smart enough to go, what does that mean? And do I like it at 2.5? As I explained to you, TCU, Georgia, I saw the 60. I let it. I didn't follow. I bet the over. Nick knows because I told him right away, get over 60. It's a lock. Over 54. He bets it. I bet it. It then goes up to 62.5. Well, we didn't move on to 62.5. We already were in on it at the 60. We knew that was a good bet. We don't need to watch and go, oh, if everybody else likes it, I like it too. We're more contrarian. If it moves, I almost want to go the other way. And I know there's a lot of people in Vegas that do that. I've told you that Kansas State, Michigan, Tyler Lockett's on Kansas State, and Michigan is playing him in a bowl game. And I'm sitting at the table. Now Michigan's quarterback's out. So I bet a big bet on Kansas State. Some guy hears me. He goes, I'm going to bet Michigan. The spread went from 5 to 7 or whatever. I'm going to be a contrarian, and I'm going against because the public will lose. And I said, not this time. This is because the Michigan's quarterback's out. Their backup sucks. Do not do it. He did it anyway. Kansas State won by 20 because Michigan's quarterback sucked. And I knew he sucked because I'm in Michigan. So yes, I get sometimes the betting, but I wouldn't bet against Buffalo because it moved to 13.5 because the quarterback's out. Maybe you move against San Diego. As I looked at my trends last night, Jacksonville is a good home dog, and San Diego, we know, is bet against as a favorite. I wish if Jacksonville was favored, this would have been the biggest lock. San Diego probably was Cincinnati. But they're favored. Now, what do you do with it? Now they're 2.5. Before I at least had 4.5. Now I got 3.5. I got to hope it drops back to 2, or I can find a 2. Let's see if I can find a 2 on this mess. So when you go into scores and odds, it does give you multiple action, which I will show you. So San Diego. Yeah, so the first one is 2.5, but look next to it. They're 2s. Here we go. So there's still a 1.5, so I can still use 1.5s. So Nick asked me, how do you get your line? And I go, well, this is what I do. I look at everything. And so we will play here, whatever SI is, we can take Jacksonville. We can take San Diego and 4.5 still. So that's how I do it, Nick. And I know you get a little curious, as you should, going, where are you getting that fucking line? But that's why I tell you to shop around. So if you go in there and look, maybe you join that site so you get the better line, and then you don't have to buy points and buy juice and all that. Because I don't want you to buy juice, but I want you to get the 11 to 10 that you should on a 2-team teaser. Or maybe you play a 3-team teaser, San Diego and 4.5 with the Niners, with Cincinnati or Tampa Bay. But that's what you do. If anybody tells you the bullshit, you just that's why you ignore it. Bobby. Hey, Bobby. Good morning. Thank you, Bobby. Yeah, we're going through a little. We went through a little Bernie Madoff where people don't ask questions, and then an example of me and Nick. So Nick didn't trust me at first, or he didn't know who I was, and didn't want to pay for it. But he saw my site and he saw my picks, and he said, "Fuck, this guy knows what he's doing." He told me there was a lock he saw, the Fresno State under a couple years ago in the bowl game, and they played an under, and he goes, "Well, the guy was right." And so I'm slowly getting his attention. And the point is, you ask the questions, how does he do it? And then you see, and then you gain the mutual respect. And after 3 years, you now know there's no smoke and mirrors. What he's doing is legit. And that was the thing with Bernie Madoff. They would ask him, how are you doing it? And you couldn't get an answer, but you would get a return. They didn't realize it's because somebody else was coming in with money and he's giving you that money. He never made one trade. How the fuck are you an investment trader or asset man, whatever the fuck he was? How do you do that without making a trade? He never made a trade. He just took people's money. There was one guy who I think was the real person behind it, not Madoff. It was one of his investors in the beginning. There was 3 or 4 guys, and I'll get you his name. I'll watch it again. And the guy, when Bernie needed, so what happens is Bernie doesn't have money, right? And it only bothers him if everybody asks for the money at the same time. He doesn't have it. It's a pyramid scheme, right? But if Bobby asks me for 10 grand and I get 10 grand from Nick, I give it to Bobby. So as long as I got money coming in, I can pay it out. That was the whole pyramid scheme, the whole scam. But what happened, the reason he got caught was 2008. As people are losing their ass in all the housing problems, they're all asking, he needed $1 billion and he only had $1 million. So or let's say he had 100 million, but everybody's coming, Bobby, Nick, I want my money, and it totaled $1 billion. Well, he couldn't do it. That's how he lost. But in the interim, in 03, 04, if he needed like 100 million, this guy would give him the money and then he'd pay it out. And then when he got more money in, he paid the guy back. That's how he did it. Let's see, is it Russia or the Ukraine interrupting our class? It's Russia, my dear. So as a good boy, I show her I am on the internet. Now for her, it's 8 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock at night. I'll talk to you about Europe when I'm done with this thought. So he needed money because if everybody asked him for their money, because supposedly they're sitting in this fund and you got the stocks. I mean, everybody thinks at some point he's got the assets covering it. He's bought Coca-Cola or MGM or something. He's already bought those stocks with the money was the idea, right? So he sells it and pays them. Well, since you didn't buy anything, you didn't. So the moral of the story is you need to ask, what are you doing? And so when this guy tells me he picks so good and he wants marketing and he does it by the public betting, which you can see the line. And excuse me. When the wife calls, you got to answer. So when you have to understand what's going on, and that's really the point, right? So if you get a question, so when the guy says I picked 13-1, and he can't explain it to you, but just the betting, when you can clearly see the line, I don't need to buy. And he says he spends $250 a month paying for this information that you get for free. So it's very skeptical. Like, why would you pay for the line movements when I can see San Diego went to 2.5, and I can see Minnesota hasn't moved. I can see Buffalo went to 13. Why do I need to pay for that information? Why do I care who made the bets? That doesn't interest me. If Bobby bets on he took LSU, I didn't post LSU because Bobby posted it. I just ignored it because I didn't like the game. Anyway, so that's really what you do. And I apologize for the text, but it's late in Russia and they're in the middle of a fucking war. So I try to be kind and helpful when I can, give her support, because God knows you're in a fucking war. You're probably pretty scared, especially when Putin's your president, right? So I'll apologize for that, but not trying to be rude or disrespectful to anybody here. So that's what you need to understand is you meet somebody, you don't know them, you get to know them. You see if they're bullshitting you or they're true. If they can explain it to you fairly good, they're true. And then you ask, but it can't be like the Sting where the guy calls and he gives you the winner of a horse race. That was pretty clever, but that's not what we're doing here. It's obvious. Yeah, I'm not telling you like after the games, okay, bet Tampa Bay, they're going to beat Dallas and the game's already played. That would be a nice one. So keep that in mind. Just life lessons, theories, how to identify people. So people that say things that are too good to be true, 99% are bullshitting you or can't unless they can back it up, like me. I tell you I pick 70, 75%, and they're saying the sharp picks 55% and the best picks 60. How the fuck do you pick 70, 75%, Professor? Well, one thing is we do teasers, which are a lot more successful and a lot easier to get right. So that's one way we do it. And with the way my background is, the way I do it. But you know what? Don't believe me. Watch the videos. And what do we do in the videos? We go through the games. It's a winner. It's a winner. It's a winner. Oh, TCU won over. Oh, TCU beat Michigan. Georgia beat Ohio State. USC over. Kansas over. Wait a minute. This guy does, and he goes into the details. So what I'm telling you is you have to meet a guy like me who can back up the bullshit. And when he can't back it up, then that's who you walk away from. The problem I get when I'm in the pool or some of these guys on here, they're not listening. They assume the bullshit without listening to the story. And so when I say buy gold and silver, and the guy in the hot tubs ignore me, like he doesn't know what he's talking about. I know the government, they wouldn't lie to us ever. And why would gold and silver go up? It never has. They don't even understand it's COMEX is fixing it, and why it's going up is BRICS, and the Russians and the Chinese want dollars backed by gold. They don't understand any of that. So they miss the whole story to get to the bottom of what's really going on. And that is where I get upset going, oh, you think I'm bullshitting you. You think I'm Bernie Madoff, that I'm just telling you lies, I guess, to make me feel good. I don't gain anything. See, Madoff could tell you this, and then you give him money, and then he keeps the scam going. But with me, if I tell you to buy gold, I don't make a penny out of it. I do not sell and buy gold. I do not have a gold store, although I wish I would have went into that 20 years ago. When I got my master's, I knew that without the dollar being backed, it was going to be inflated, and I want to be in assets. And I should have bought a gold store and a silver store back then. I knew it. I knew it all along, but my ex got me into baseball cards instead of gold, and that's why she's my ex. One of the reasons. Anyway, so that is the point of judging people, right? So who do you trust? And then is he a Madoff or is he a professor? Who do I trust? And that's where you've got to play it out. And you can't just assume he's a Madoff in the beginning. He's got to prove he's a Madoff. So you start asking questions like Nick does, like Bobby does, like everybody does. I try to answer the questions here before I even get into it. This is who we like. Oh, Tagliabue is out. We like Buffalo because he's out, because it's a home game. It's a playoff game. Buffalo's going to kick their ass because the guy's in a – I'm giving you 12 reasons why Buffalo's a good bet, or why I like Tampa, or why I like San Diego. So I'm giving you the reasons. So now you can do what you want. The one thing is that I really laugh at is I give the guy the over in the TCU game, and he bets TCU. I give him the over in the Green Bay game, he bets Detroit. And you're like, okay, what are you doing, right? You either go with me or you don't go against me, but that's okay, because it's kind of insulting if I give you the pick and then you take a different route to the game. We haven't talked about trapping, and I thought he was going to trap. He had a 15-point trap, and he never trapped it. He says he did, but Detroit won, so now he says, well, I didn't trap it. I'm like, well, that's stupid. You should have trapped it. Just because you lose the trap doesn't mean it's a bad bet. Anyway, so everything's psychological in life. Why do I buy stocks? Why do I buy gold and silver? Why do I bet football? Why do I play poker? It's all psychological, but you got to think. So what I'm training you is how to think properly. So you pick that up. A guy at the poker table who's really loud is probably a bad player and laughing. Daniel Negreanu, I thought was the worst poker player I ever saw. He would not shut up. I sat at the table with him. I'd tell him to go fuck off and stop talking. And if I play with Phil Hellmuth, I'd tell him to go fuck himself. I don't want to hear those games, and I'm not going to let them psych me out. Like, I don't care. You're just a guy to me. I was talking to this girl who is in movies, we'll say, and she's telling me she's a celebrity. And I said, I look up what's celebrity, and it means you're popular, or you're in the public or something. It was like something popular. And I just said, in your own mind, you're popular, not in anybody else's. I don't really give a fuck about that. But it was just her idea. And if you need to tell me you're popular, or you're, what did she call it? She's not in the spotlight, but what was the word? What did she call herself? She kept saying she was not a star, but what did she call herself? Oh, she was a celebrity is what she called herself. She says, I'm a celebrity. And I'm like, you do movies, you're not really a celebrity. I don't even consider so if we get into the definition, it's a famous person. So she's trying to say I'm a celebrity, and I don't even know what it means. And she said, I'm a famous person. I just laugh at her like, okay. No, it just says they're famous. So are you a celebrity, Bobby, because you played baseball? Maybe, maybe not. I know who you are because I watch baseball. But if there was a baseball player now I'd probably like hockey. I can't name one player. And I used to watch the Red Wings when they were good, and Yzerman and, Lindstrom and all those guys, Hasek, Brett Hall, Lemieux, Bobby Orr. I couldn't name a celebrity now. I couldn't name a hockey player because it's all so weird, and I can't name too many basketball players because I can't watch it because it's unwatchable. Football I can name. Now, Tom Brady a celebrity? Yeah. Is Jared Goff of the Lions a celebrity? No. If I saw Jared Goff in Target or Kroger's, I'd probably laugh at the guy going, yeah, I guess this is the best you can do. Most of them are considered public figures. But the higher echelon. So I'm not sure if I saw you in public, Bobby, I would know it's you. Would I know, Mickey Mantle? Would I know? Well, obviously he's dead, but I mean, would I know Barry Bonds? Probably, because I've seen him a lot. I think it's somebody that you would see in public and know who they are. So is Lou Whitaker? I wouldn't. If I saw him in public, I wouldn't know. Now, I did meet Isaiah Thomas at a drugstore of all things. I was getting like a pop and chips, and he walked. As I was leaving, he walked in. Now, I knew it was Isaiah, so I will call him a celebrity. And he was a great guy. He was very funny, very nice to meet you. And I was thrilled, basically, to meet him. I said, you're great. And, so we had a 2-minute talk. But that I would call a celebrity. But if James Edwards walked in or Bill Laimbeer, I would not consider them celebrities. So because you do movies, does that make you a celebrity? And if you are, who gives a fuck? I don't care that you're a celebrity. You're just a girl who's pretty. And am I a celebrity? I do YouTube videos. No, I don't consider myself a celebrity. People might recognize me if you watch the video, like Bobby or Nick, if I met him in real life, would go, hey, Teaser King. But nobody knows who I am. And to me, I'm not a celebrity yet. I'm on here. And I don't give a fuck if I'm a celebrity. What does that mean? So the girl keeps trying to say she's a celebrity, and I keep laughing at her going, you're not. Brady, LeBron, Mike Tyson are celebrities. Yeah, that's what I think. More that you would recognize in public. Now you get like, if I saw George Clooney, I'd probably tell him to go fuck himself. I see. Then there's the celebrity that you like or the celebrity you don't like. And that comes in that, then it becomes like, if I saw LeBron, I would walk right by him. I don't like him. You have, yeah. Well, you're in Tampa. You're a celebrity to me, Professor. Oh, I'm not worried about it. I don't think I am. I just think if you want to talk gold and silver, I'll talk gold and silver with you, or football. But I'm not worried about it. I'm just saying. So this girl, because she did movies, is saying she's a celebrity. Like, that's a big deal. And I'm like, girl, if nobody watched your movies and they saw you walking down the street, nobody would know who the fuck you are. You're not that big a celebrity. You didn't do, A-list movies. You did X-list movies. So you're really not a celebrity, and you did them like 5-6 years ago. So because I liked you and I know who you are, but somebody now would never know who you are. You're just, and I don't know how pretty you are. You need all the makeup and everything. So if you don't do a makeup, I don't think you're that pretty, and you're getting older. Bobby, there are 8-year-old kids who know who Mike Tyson and Michael Jordan are. Some. I don't know if I know Michael Jordan, but Tyson, because he's been in the movies, right? He was in the Hangover movies, so people know him from that. I don't think you know him from boxing because you really never get a face shot of him. Yeah, I agree with Phil that thank you guys, but really, we would all get hype if we seen the professor in the airport. There you go. All right. Let me know where to meet you. I'll meet you there. Let's go out, have a steak and a beer. And we'll have our protein. No sugar, no dessert. And we can have a nice chat. I'm just saying that's how she thought. And I laugh going, I don't give a fuck. I'm not interested in you because you're a celebrity. Anyway, I got my hands full with Russia and the Ukraine here. So that's what I'm saying. So it becomes a trust issue and that's the same thing with dating, right? So you meet a girl, it's the same thing. Is she playing you? Is she just want your money? Is she serious about you? And that takes the time. She's got to prove it. She's got to explain, and you have to trust her. And I think that's what most guys don't do, or are only after her for sex. If you're after her seriously and you're worried she's after your money, that's when it's the same thing. You can't get a Bernie Madoff answer out of her where she gets upset when you ask her a question. Anybody that gets upset when you ask them a question to explain, don't run away from them. Bernie Madoff, some pretty girl, whoever it is, if they can't sit down and explain, you're buying gold and silver because of the inflation. If you can't get that type of an answer, just run, because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, or they're just trying to use you. So it's got to be somebody that you got to get to know, and mutual respect. That's why it takes a little time. That's why it's hard to walk up to a girl and just say, hey, let's go out to dinner. She doesn't know you. She doesn't have that trust factor. Even though you get a feel, or she's very pretty and you like to take her out, that's why they kind of run away. Some don't. Some are aggressive, and then you have to be careful what's their motive. And then once you get past that, then everything works out. We would all get hype. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, guys. So really, that's the critical part. It's not being stupid when you meet a Bernie Madoff, or you meet some girl who just wants you to take them out, spend a lot of money on them, and then they don't. Oh, I'm already married. I already have a boyfriend, and I'm never gonna have sex with you. It's just I wanted a free meal or money or something. So be careful but be careful in life, and it all works the same way. It's all got to be prove it to me, trust, and how do they act. So that's what I'm learning with this Bernie Madoff thing. All these people that lost money were fucking idiots. They got what they deserve. To trust somebody who can't explain their business and says, I never lose, and I'm going to make you 20% return when the normal return's 5%. That's a red. As soon as my brother-in-law told me I'm going to make 20%, and I'm going, well, let's say bonds are 3%. You make 2% at the bank. I understand what real estate investment trusts are. Maybe you make 7% there. How the fuck you making 15, 20%? It's a scam. I knew that without him explaining it to me. He then went on to say it's strip malls, and I just laughed at him going, what if the guy doesn't pay the strip mall back? What if this is really before the internet kicked in. It was a good 10 years ago. So he lost his money, and I just laughed going, I wouldn't put a penny into it. I'll take care of my own investing. I got a master's in it. So what did I do? I got a master's in it. So now I understand it. I understand finance, stocks, investing, economics, assets, inflation. That's really the key. If you understand it, nobody can bullshit you. That's my job, is to teach you all this so you understand it, so nobody can bullshit you. Because then you don't need them. You don't need a financial planner. Just come to me. I am not charging you a penny for financial planning, economics, and that. And I'm telling you, buy gold and silver. I don't make a penny. I don't want to make a penny. I want Bobby to be rich because he bought a bunch of silver, and Nick and Phil and everybody else who said, that makes sense. I'm going to go buy it. They bought it with their money. They hold it, the silver and gold. We're just waiting for the BRICS countries to finally want their gold to go up, and the JP Morgans to too many holes in the dike. They can't hold it anymore, and it blows up. So we're just waiting for that to happen. We know that's what the reason is, that it's low. It's not because of demand. Anything there's a high demand, the price will follow, which it will. It's just a matter, we just have to be patient, but we understand why, and we understand that gold is now down. And when you hear these morons on YouTube say, well, gold's going to go down, they're idiots. They have no clue what they're talking about, because there's no way gold and silver could possibly go down. A, because of the inflation. It takes more dollars to buy an asset, and B, the demand's through the roof. Nobody is selling gold and silver. There's not one person in the world selling gold and silver unless you go to my gold store and you need the money and you sell the ounce of gold for the 1,800 that they're buying it for. But that's not dropping the price, nor is they, when I come in and spend 19.20 on an ounce of gold, the price isn't raising to 19.20. Why not? I demanded it. Bobby comes in, he buys $35 an ounce silver. Why isn't silver going up to 35? Bobby bought it. The demand was there. He paid more for it. Where the fuck? Why isn't the price following our demand? That's really the key to it. So with that said, that's when the light bulb goes on. We go, we know it's fucked. We know it's being fixed. And then, but what's going to make it go? And then we realize it's BRICS and the dollar backed by gold, which is happening. And they're taking gold for oil, Saudi Arabia, and they're off the dollar. So we know the dollar's collapsing, and we know that's what they want. They're printing trillions of dollars to collapse it. Well, that's what they're doing. We understand that. So therefore, we're protected because we know that this has to go to zero or very, very low. So when I hear Warren Buffett is in cash, he's got $2 billion, my reaction is to laugh, going, this guy's going to go broke because he thinks he's smart out of the stock market. Why? Well, he knows the stock market's going to tumble, but he doesn't understand his inflation. I was watching a YouTube on Buffett and inflation. He thinks his price is going up. He does not understand the Austrian concept. It's because you're printing it to zero. Is the Austrian economics correct? Yes, it's been proven correct. Every country in the world that had their money backed by gold was the number one. France and the Netherlands and Spain and England and the Roman Empire all had gold as their currency and all were very successful. And when they got rid of their gold and inflated, they all collapsed. How many times do you need to see the movie to get that's the ending of the movie? What are the U.S. doing now? They're not backed by gold. They're hyperinflating. How does this movie end? The same way it ended in these other countries. Because but look at let's go to part 2 of the movie. Who's buying all the gold? Russia and China. Where's their price going to go up? They're going to be one, or somehow with the BRICS. I don't know. Anybody can trust the Russians or the Chinese. I also heard Iran bought a lot of gold. So we got a new partner to the dance. We've got Russia with 20,000 ounces. We've got tons. We've got China with 40,000 tons. We've got Iran, I don't know how many thousand tons. Let's give them 10. We know India's got 10 or 15,000 tons. And we know Saudi Arabia and the Arab countries with all their oil are buying gold like it's no tomorrow, and silver, Bobby. And we know that's all happening. It's all there. So who's left out? Well, if we're playing musical chairs, who's the one without the chair? It's the U.S. and Britain. We don't have the gold. Yeah, there might be a lot in the central bank in New York, but it's not our gold. It's other countries' gold. Even Hungary and what's the other country? With the P, Poland. Poland and Hungary, their central banks are buying gold. So why would the banks buy gold if it's a stupid idea? Because it's protection and they know it's going to go up. And they're keeping the price low so all the banks can buy it. And I don't know, JP Morgan's smoking. If he thinks we'll keep the price low, people won't buy it. And then we don't have to, then it won't jump up, but they're out of their fucking minds. CGC fan, Iran has political unrest. Okay, but what does that have to do with them buying gold? They have apparently bought a lot of gold. A lot of the central banks are buying the cheap gold. So JP Morgan's keeping the price low, allowing everybody to buy it. Why is it priced at fucking COMEX? Where is the physical price of gold? Why isn't there one? Maybe back in the 70s when they went on COMEX, it was supposed to do both, but clearly it's not. If we got to pay $35 an ounce for silver, Eagles, but the spot's 23, does that make any sense? Why can't we buy it for 23? Because that's really not the physical price. Why are we paying 35? And they call it a premium, but they're so stupid. They should be selling it at 2,000. Why are they selling it at 35? These guys are fucking even dumber than JP Morgan. If me and Bobby are owning a gold and silver store, you want silver, it's $1,000. I ain't selling it for 35 because that I wouldn't sell it for 35 now, right? Unless I absolutely critically need the money to eat. I am not selling my silver for 35 an ounce. It's not being sold for under 1,000. Why? Because I know that's where it's headed. I know it's real money, and I know the demand is at least $1,000 to $2,000 an ounce. So as we talk about marketing and products, and my favorite, like Canadian Club, so go buy this at the store and you see the price. Why? Because there's demand for it. If something's not on the shelf, it's because there's no demand for it. If you see this, and last time I saw it was 50, but that was probably a year ago. Well, let's say it's $80 for this bottle. That means there's demand buying it for 80 because the store wants to move the inventory. So if they get a case of this in from Canadian Club, which is in Windsor, Canada, they get a case of it in, guess what? They want to sell it and they want to make 20%. So they buy it for 70, they sell it for 80. If there's no demand, they can't sell it for 80. And if there's no demand, they don't buy it from Canadian Club at 70, right? They got to let it go. There's no demand for this product. But yet it's on the shelves. There it is. You see all the liquor. People are going to drink heavily as they lose all their money, unfortunately. Now, a quick note. My friend in Romania who's pregnant, she's due in March. She says, that's when your birthday is. So she felt good. And she says, yeah, I'm getting heavy and it's really hard, with the baby because it's 2 months away. And then she starts getting into economics with me going, man, the prices are just terrible here. They're very high. Same thing with my girlfriend in the Ukraine and my girlfriend in Russia. The prices just go up. This is the problem when you don't have a free market Austrian economics. We can sit there and say, we don't want to buy it, right? We're not going to pay for it, right? We can say that and we substitute. I'm not going to buy Canadian Club. I'll buy Crown Royal. Or I'm not going to buy this coffee. I'll buy that. Or if coffee gets too expensive, I'll buy tea. Or I'll just drink water. If Cheerios are too expensive, I'll buy the no brand. Or better yet, don't buy any of it because it's all carbs. Avocados. Now, avocados, get your avocados now, Bobby. I keep seeing, and this is the third time I've seen them for $1 an avocado. Sometimes I see them for $2 an avocado. So to see them for $1 on sale, I buy like 10 of them. So that's what we can do. They can't do it there. You know what happens? The government dictates your rent's going up $100. Your food, milk's gone up, bread's gone up, whatever they're buying has gone up. Your pay has not gone up. So the guy who runs the store isn't even in charge of what he pays them. It's more the government dictates. That's why these economies suck. My friend in Romania who's having the baby's freaking out, going, I don't know how anybody's going to survive. The costs have gone up. She's pregnant. She can't. She probably can't work anymore. Now, her advantage is her family owns a farm. So she's able to eat off the farm, and they have pigs and chicken, and they have pig's ears for you, Bobby. If you go to Romania, we can eat it at her farm. But they have all the fruit and veggies and the meat and the chickens, and they have a farm. As I go to her, I'll send you some silver for some food, or I'll just go there and I'll give you here's a bunch of gold and we'll eat. That's her advantage, and that's why they say have a farm. So now here we just substitute. We say fuck you. I'm not going to pay $20 for New York strips. I'll buy the $10 sirloin, or I'll just buy the hamburger, which is amazingly still $5 a pound for 86% ground sirloin or ground whatever. It's still there that if you buy 3 pounds, it's 5 something a pound. I'm like, fuck, I keep buying it and throwing it in my freezer. And the chicken I see has gone up. It's about $3. Before you could get it for that 99 cents, $1.29 a pound. Now it's about $3, $4 a pound I'm seeing. The bigger names like Tyson are more, but you can always get the cheaper names. And to me, chicken's chicken. Just make sure you cook it. So you have that. Even the deli meat now, I buy the Sara Lee barbecue chicken, and I slice it medium for my omelets and my salads, and it's up to 10. It used to be $7.99. It's now $10.99. Okay, I caught it on sale a couple of weeks ago, but here, if they can't move their inventory, the store is responsible for lowering the price to sell the goods and serve, to sell your goods, which is what a store is. They sell their inventory. If they can't sell it, they lower their price because we're the market. In these communist countries, Russia, Ukraine, Romania, the government is telling them what to do, or maybe the store owners are raising their prices, but if nobody buys, they have to lower it. Now, I don't know what happened. Like Russia, are they able to lower the price on? They have like fake Coke there. I was watching this one, and it's not Coca-Cola, but it's similar to Coca-Cola. Like it's the same red bottle with the same. It looks like Coke, but it's just a different company on it. That's how Russia. You want to sanction me, and Coke and McDonald's leaves, and they come up with fake Coke and fake McDonald's, and people go there for their food. So McDonald's will get very busy because they'll be the cheapest. That's the substitute for the real food, which is why I worry about the people there, because they're fucked, because they got to eat crap that's probably nuclear or whatever. It's who knows. And then you got a fucking war to pay for. How are they paying for the war? Putin wants to keep missiling Ukraine. My girlfriend says, "Oh, there's missiles that keep going overhead into a field, and we shoot them down." Well, those are expensive missiles. How the fuck are they paying for them? So believe me, the want of money backed by gold and gold to go up to 50,000 an ounce is Putin's top priority, and China, because that's what they want. China's threatening a war with India. They'll never war with Taiwan because we can block them too much, and we want the chips. There'll never be a war with U.S. and China, or U.S. or China and Taiwan. That'll never happen. Never. Because China needs to export, right? So they make the goods, they export, and we're the buyers. So if they piss us off, nobody buys their goods, now they're fucked. So there will never be the war. Again, every war is always about money. Every war. Don't ever forget that. So are we going to invade Iran? I don't know. Is there a reason to? Probably not. They have nukes, so maybe we do some other deal with them, but there's no, we pissed off Saudi Arabia. Now, the whole thing with electric cars makes no sense because who the fuck wants to buy one? I saw Ford doing a different battery. Well, I'm sure that'll work. So Ford's gone electric. If I gave anybody stock advice, it would be to get out of Ford stock. Ford doesn't know what they're doing. They've proven that time in and time again. To get into electric, to get the tax incentive of building electric cars is what they're doing, but who's going to buy them? How many people really want to buy an electric car? What, 20, 30 people? I mean, nobody's going to buy one. And it pisses off Saudi Arabia and the oil countries because they're going, well, fuck, you're not buying my oil. I'm going to go and do business with China and Russia. Well, not necessarily Russia, but China, India, and the countries that need oil because they're still going to run with cars. So as we've been told here, there's a lot of fires that happen with cars. The batteries run out. The batteries need to be replaced, which are not cheap. And the charging of the battery is going to get very expensive. Who wants a car? I'm going to drive from here to Vegas. How far am I going to get in an electric car before I need to charge? Now, if I'm in my gas car, I can take me 3 days. There's plenty of gas stations and I can fill up. And I know what my gas mile is. All the car makers going electric. Okay, what's the point of that, CGC? They're not all going electric, but they're all making electric cars. So Mercedes is still going to have Mercedes, but they are making a few electric Mercedes. Ford's gone overboard and makes everything, but I think the Lincoln Mercury will still be cars, and the F-150 will still be gas-powered. GM, well, they have no market share anyway, but I guarantee you Honda and Hyundai and Kia, they're all going to be gas-powered. You can't get away from gas-powered. There's too much demand for it. They sell 16 million units of cars. Oh, bullshit, no choice. You want to be in business, you're going to make gas-powered cars. What do you mean no choice? What is that? That doesn't make any sense. You're free to make whatever you want. This is America. Now you're getting a tax incentive from idiot Biden, but that doesn't mean anything. If Ford and GM want to make gas-powered cars, they're making gas-powered cars. If they understand there's 16 million cars bought every year that are gas-powered, maybe 1 million go electric, the other 15 are buying gas. Why would you turn your back on that demand? For what? So don't tell me there's no choice. There's always choice. Don't think they don't have money either. Remember, it's all lobbyists, and it's all this Larry Flint of BlackRock and JP Morgan and this idiot, well, Powell is just a gopher, who want the green thing, but you're not forced to take it. If you're in with Larry Fink and BlackRock, he says you got to do green energy, you say, I'm not interested, and you go with another investment banker who doesn't require that. That's all you do. You don't have to listen to BlackRock. You don't have to borrow from them. Phil, hello. No, they are coming after gas stoves, I read recently. What does that mean? What, are they going to come into your house and rip off the gas stove? And personally, I don't care if I have an electric stove or gas. I probably don't know what I have. I turn it on and my thing goes red. So am I an electric stove? Do I give a fuck? It heats up my tea. It cooks my chicken and my steaks. I can make my eggs. So I don't really care, but it's not forcing me to get a new one. If that's what they have, then they can put it in. Now they are coming after. Yeah. Well, there's always that, and this is what you got to understand, Phil. There's always this is what we want, but then there's reality. So Larry Fink can go after these companies to be green and to have a diversified board of directors, and that's what they say, but the reality is they're not going to do it, or they can't do it. They want to come out with a digital dollar, but I am telling you they will never come out with a digital dollar in the U.S. because Oregon doesn't want one. So they can say digital dollar, digital dollar, digital dollar, but the reality is there'll never be a digital dollar. They're going to stop selling them is what they will do. That's what they will do. Maybe not. Again, keep in mind, the U.S. is Austrian economics. That's the basis. It's them selling what is demanded. If we demand gas-powered ovens, that's what we want to buy. And so if I go to sell electric and I don't have a demand for it, then what? All these companies going out of business, because guess what? If the demand's not there, you can't sell a product. Government doesn't buy. They're not the customer. Me and you are the customer. So they got to sell. So it's like them. It's like, so what you're saying is, well, Canadian Club's not going to make this anymore. They're going to make something else. Well, my demand is for this. This is what I want to buy. I don't want the other product. So the other product sits on the shelf, doesn't sell, Canadian Club goes out of business. That's never going to happen. They're going to say, well, the demand is for this. So the government says, stop making it. And they're going to say, fuck you, because we make $25 a bottle when we sell it. So why would we stop making it? So that's how the market works. I'm the market. You're the market. We're the buyers of the market. They're the sellers of the market. So we're the supply and we're the demand and they're the supply. So Say's law, demand creates supply. I want Canadian Club 12-year. They make it. I buy it. They make more. I buy it. They make more. If I don't want an electric car and nobody wants an electric car, how do you sell it if nobody wants it? Okay, in your words, the government says you've got to make them. and they stop selling them. Well, guess what? We find another way to buy a gas-powered car. If we need to go to Russia to buy it, if we need to go to Europe, we'll go somewhere that makes it and have it shipped here. We're not going to buy electric cars. I'll never buy an electric car. They can't make me buy one. I'll just keep my gas-powered one, and there's a slew of used ones. So fine, I'll go buy an '05 Camry that's gas-powered. You think the gas stations are going away? You think Sunoco and Shell or these are huge companies? You think they're going to stop business? You're out of your mind. Hey, maybe they have electric. How much are they going to charge for electric? Is Shell going to get part of the electric money, or does it all go to the utility, the electric utility? DTE Energy or Duke Energy. Are they going to make the money, or is it Shell and Sunoco and Mobil? Are they going to make the money? You think Shell and Mobil are just going to walk away and say, oh, well, we just lost $50 billion in revenue? No fucking way that's going to happen. Just the fact it's been brought up for legislation is insane and shows you how far they want to go. They're just trial balloons. They'll just say it to see the reaction. A lot of government, you got to understand, government has one purpose. It's power and control over the weak, or what they think is us. But we ain't so weak when it really comes down to it, right? So they want to power and they want to control us. They don't have any power over us if they sell electric cars that nobody wants. They get booted out of office. But the last thing they want is to get booted out of office. So they float these trial balloons that say, hey, we're going to do what China does, and we're going to do this, and we're going to have digital dollars. And everybody goes, fuck you. Guess what? They're gone. Those are trial balloons. That's what they do, because they're not smart enough to follow the market and Say's law. So what they do is go, well, let's see what the market says. We're going to come out with electric car. Look at Tesla stock. It's sinking like a rock because there's no fucking demand for it. Well, when he goes out of business, what do you think he's going to do? He'll do gas-powered cars. Why Tesla would go into the electric car business with no demand shows how stupid he is. So if you start listening to a guy like Tesla, he's no smarter than Warren Buffett, who's also a freaking moron. They don't understand free market because they're not Austrian economists. You do. I'm teaching you. I want this, I'll make it for you. I want that, I'll make it for you. You cannot make what I don't want. That's called communism. That's Keynesian economics. That's where the government makes something without the demand. We live in an Austrian world, although nobody wants to tell you that. We live in a gold world. Nobody wants to tell you that either. But we do. That's the reality of our world. So if we want a gas-powered Mercedes or a gas-powered Toyota Camry, guess what? They're going to make it because we want it and we're going to spend money, and they're in business to make money. They're not in business to have the government tell them what to do. If that's the business, and that's why Ford will go out of business. If Ford doesn't make a Mustang or something that's gas-powered, and you go to a Ford dealer and you go, I want a car, and there's no gas-powered car. Oh, we got electric? Okay, well, good luck. I'll see you in the unemployment office. Because if you can't sell your product, you go out of business. You've invested all this money in it. I'll give Ford a year, they'll be out of business. I had this thought. I'm from Detroit, and we all laugh at the Lions. They're a bunch of losers. And we always say, well, we need a new owner because they keep bringing in these guys, the GMs with no experience, the coaches with no experience. They win 3 games. Everybody's excited. Oh, next year. So the Lions won 8 games this year, and they're all excited. Yeah, well, they're going to win 5 games next year because their schedule will be a lot harder, and they won't be able to beat the good teams. But that's the point. So there's that hope, but they didn't even make the playoffs. When they had the big game against Carolina, they lost. So with what Ford's doing, they're finally going to get a new owner for the Lions because Ford owns the Lions, but Ford will go bankrupt because they're doing the electric cars. So when they go bankrupt, they'll have to sell the lots for the money. They own some land and they own the Lions. and the car company sucks. And, never buy Ford stock. If you want to buy stock, never buy Ford. Buy a gold miner, maybe Coca-Cola or Hershey's or something that's pretty solid. Never buy Ford stock. You can buy maybe Toyota or Mercedes, but never buy gold, or never buy Ford. Just buy gold. Just keep it simple. So hopefully the Lions get a new owner, because Ford will be bankrupt, and I'll love it. And you can see it coming now. This is what I do best, is see the future by what's happening now. So if Ford comes out with electric cars, I know Say's Law said there's no demand. Without demand, they won't sell. If they won't sell, their stock tanks. They go bankrupt because they've spent the money on what they needed to buy the electric cars and buy the cars. But when it comes down to making income and making profit, since there's no demand for electric cars, they can't. So what's going to happen? They're going to lose their ass because they won't be able to sell the electric cars. So I'm already 5 steps ahead because I'm seeing what they're doing. I saw this with Clinton. What did he do? He allowed people to take out loans without good credit. This is in the late 90s, which led to the 2008 housing market bust. Because what would happen is, it doesn't matter if you have good credit or not. Even without credit score, we'll loan you a house. And we'll do it on this variable rate at 1%. But we all know variable rates go to 2, 3, 4, 5. And the people selling the mortgages to these people that had no business, incomes of $30,000, right? Oh, well, we're raising the interest rates from 1% to 3%, which we do on every variable loan. What the fuck did you think was going to happen? So because he allowed that, led to people who shouldn't have loans buying them, which led to these Wall Street idiots putting them in the products and selling them for a higher return because they don't have a good credit score. So you can see it all happening and all unfolding. You can see it all unfolding, right? So what Clinton did caused the 2008 housing crisis. But if you understood what he did in the first place, allowing people with bad credit to get the loan, Say's Law, if I'm lending money, I would never lend money to a guy who didn't have it and couldn't pay it back. So therefore, all these mortgages started to collapse because people couldn't pay. And all these Wall Street firms are like acting like idiots, like, oh, I didn't know. Fuck, you're working on Wall Street and you don't know that these loans are terrible and these people, when the rates go up, aren't going to be able to pay them back, and you're on Wall Street? Go work at the grocery store, because you're too stupid to work on Wall Street. So, of course, when it happens, you know what's going to happen. You know, it's very obvious. So you've got to follow the bouncing ball. So when Clinton does that, we can just go and see the future. We can see they're going to get loans to people that shouldn't have it. The variable rates are going to go up. And when the variable rates go up, all these people can't afford it, are going to default. And all these mortgage products, these real estate investment trusts, which are a bunch of loans. So what you're doing, from our point of view, you can only get 4%. So I'm going to do a Bernie Madoff, but it's going to be real. I'm going to package these mortgages, which I am getting more for on the mortgage, right? The mortgage pays 6 or 7%. So I'm going to let you buy the mortgages of these people, and you're going to get a 7% return. But if I'm the professor, I'm saying you're buying mortgages and calling them real estate investment trusts. So you know what you're buying. It's not a surprise, not a Bernie Madoff where he can't explain what he's selling, but I can explain you're buying more. And I know what a real estate investment trust. So that was a good way out to get a little bit more interest. However, they're not telling you the risk, because the way they're packaged, most of these people can't afford the mortgage and they're all going to collapse. And everybody who owns these real estate investment trusts is fucked, because it's based on them paying the mortgage off, but they won't, because as soon as interest rates start going up. So what I know better than anybody is when interest rates go up and what are the effects of the higher prices or the lower prices of the interest rates. And that's exactly what the fuck happened. You can see it plain as day. And then all these car companies that are trying to sell electric vehicles, guess what? If you own any shares of any electric car company, get the fuck out. Look at Tesla. Tesla's way down. Oh, I think it'll bounce up. Why? Is there all of a sudden demand for the electric car? People wanting to pay $20,000 more because it says Tesla on it, even though it blows up, the batteries catch on fire, there's nowhere to charge it, the charging's more expensive. Why? Because it says Tesla and it's got a picture of the idiot on it? Good luck. Hi, Sean. How are you today? Hope all is well. Georgia defense came out of hibernation. Yeah, you're talking about the game. Yeah, well, maybe it was a better matchup. I don't know. They're probably better. Well, look what they did to Tennessee. The problem I had is what they did against Ohio State, which really didn't make sense. But yeah, they still can bring it. So I had the over in the game, which is unusual because I played the under for the last 2 years. A couple of times I had Georgia against Ohio State even, and we got away with it. And then I played the over, and it went over because Georgia scored 80 points. But yeah, that's what you got to be careful with a team like Georgia. When does the defense play and when doesn't it? It didn't play against Ohio State, which I was shocked. Anyway, so back to this. So you read what happens, read you the future. So what stocks do I do? Well, because they're printing money creates the inflation. Now we're now playing chess, right? So here's inflation. Now what happens with inflation? Costs go up. Companies aren't as profitable because companies can't pass the cost on to the consumer because we don't live in Russia. We live in America where it's Austrian economics, it's free market economics. So as long as we have free market and we're free to choose, if things get too expensive, we don't buy them. So they can't pass the cost on. You cannot sell a Camry for $30,000. Nobody wants to buy it. My friend at the pool, who's into all this, my friend who does this, we talked yesterday. She leased a Camry, and I said, "How much was it?" She said it was down to $27,000. There you go. They needed to sell it for 30, but they couldn't, so they leased it out for 27. So she's got like the 3-year lease. She says, "Well, I still have the 05 Camry," and I go, "Exactly." So what did they do? They said, "We can't sell it for that," which is my point. With the inflation, your costs go up if you don't substitute. So if Toyota's not smart enough to substitute and buy different products and get away from the ones that are going up, forcing them down, then their things cost more, and then they try to dump it into the market higher. We don't let them. We say, "Fuck you, I'm not buying the Camry at 30,000. I'll wait till it comes back down to 25 if I want it." But I already have the Camry. I have the 2018 Camry. I don't need to buy a new one. So what happens to their stock? Their costs are up, but they can't recover their costs and make their 20%. Their stock drops because earnings down, profits down, costs are up. They have to borrow more. The interest rates are up. That hurts their earnings. That hurts their profit, and that crushes their stock. And that's 99% of the stocks are going to do that. So you think Apple, people are running in line to buy a $1,300, $1,500 iPhone? You're out of your fucking mind. Who needs to spend $1,500 on a new iPhone? What the fuck for? It's a phone. I can call people, text people, and take pictures and videos. Okay, that's what I have. My phone. I spend $150 at Walmart on my little Android here, my little Samsung Android. What the fuck do I need an iPhone for? That's, again, a malinvestment. These are people that are fucking clueless. And then when they need money for food, well, I got a nice phone that I don't need because I can substitute that phone for the Android phone, right? That's substitution, right? I substituted a $1,300, $1,500 iPhone, which I didn't need, for $150 Android Samsung, which works perfectly fine. I can call, I can text, I can take pictures, whatever. I got the internet. There's no difference between my phone and the iPhone, technically. Or it's not a status thing, but I don't give a fuck about the status. As we were talking about celebrities, I don't really care. There's very few celebrities that I would meet. Bobby, I would, like to meet Bobby. But I mean, the normal celebrity, if I saw, what the fuck's his name? Danny Ocean. If I saw Danny Ocean, I'd walk right by him. I do not get impressed by somebody who makes a movie or a TV show. If you're really like a ball player, Tom Brady, I'd probably say hi to, only if he said hi to me first. His wife, I would just walk by. I wouldn't give a shit. I wouldn't want, the only autograph I have is Frank Thomas. And that's only because I thought it'd be worth something. I took my kids to a Tiger game playing the White Sox. Frank Thomas came over. We're right by the first base dugout. We're in box seats, and I went down with 2 Frank Thomas cards. I'll show them to you on another show, and he autographed them. And it was only because he was there, and I brought the card. I mean, otherwise, I didn't get Isaiah Thomas's autograph when I met him. I think he was happier to meet me than I was to meet him. He said, "Professor, how the fuck you gonna get me? Should I buy gold now?" This was many years ago. This is when he was playing, so it was in the 80s. Phil, you wouldn't scream and jump over Justin Bieber? No, I don't even know who he is. I think he's a singer, but I would see the girls scream. Maybe I'd go after a hot girl that is enthralled by him because she's so insecure. She has to tell her girlfriends, "I fucked Justin Bieber." I mean, maybe that's, I'd go after that, but I wouldn't give a fuck about Justin Bieber or it's George Clooney I was thinking of. If I saw George Clooney, I'd walk right by him because I'm the professor. I'm higher. Now, I would, there's 2 people that I probably would walk up to, is the real professor from Money Heist and Tokyo. Those 2, I would stop and shake hands and say, great work. I learned a lot from you, Professor. And I keep Instagramming the professor, telling him he needs to go to Russia to steal the gold to end the war. And they should do that. That should be the 3rd season of Money Heist, should be them going to Russia to stop the war by doing an elaborate thing to steal from Putin. And then he doesn't have any money. They've stole all the gold and they have to stop the war. That would be a perfect episode. So I gave him that. You, me either. Yeah, I know, Phil. If I saw Daniel Jones in public, I would laugh at him. I swear to God, first of all, I wouldn't recognize him, but if I did, I would just I go, what are you doing? You're terrible. Hannah Montana, I wouldn't even know what she looked like. My daughter used to watch the show when she was 8 years old, which was 20 years ago. But if I walked by her at Kroger's today, I wouldn't know what she looked like. My porn star friend, if I saw her at Target, I would probably punch her in the face for not. She won't send me a video proof that it's really her. And so this is what I warn you about. I would ask him, "Are you actually a football player?" I wouldn't even ask him. I would just say, "Do you have gold and silver?" I would talk to him like that, and he'd look at me, and he'd say no, and I'd laugh at him, and I'd walk away. I wouldn't know Daniel Jones if I passed him. I wouldn't know Daniel Jones if I went to a Giant game and I saw him on the sidelines. I wouldn't know who he was or what he is. Or the only reason I'd know Trevor Lawrence is his long hair. Like, what the fuck's his problem? But see, here's a Bernie Madoff for you. So this girl that I know from Twitter, I keep asking her for video proof. I said, send a little video proving that it's really you and not one of your scammer friends, because they do that a lot where they pretend to be the girl and you send them money and it's not really the girl. And they send you all these pictures. I said, well, I can pretend to be you. I can send pictures off the web that I'm really you. But you need the video proof. And that's what I keep saying is until you send me a little 10-second on WhatsApp that, hi, it's really me. Hi, Howard. Boom, boom, boom. I don't believe who you are. So she says she's a celebrity. I go, you're just a scammer. You're not real. What are you kidding me? So that's what you got to do, guys. If you get these hot girls on Twitter or Instagram and you think they're real, you make sure they send you a video proof that it's really them. Now, the girls in Russia and the Ukraine, I know them because I saw them on Skype and I have them on WhatsApp, and they send me pictures and we talk all the time. So I know they're real, and I've met them. So when I get off the airplane and I see them, it's pretty much they're real. Are they after my money? I'm sure a little bit. They want safety and security and protection. They know I'm nice and they know I have money. So I'm not stupid, but what girl isn't after your money? All of them are after your money. They all want the safety and security. That's it. So understand that part, and you're way ahead. Bobby, yeah, I would tell Mac Jones, please buy gold and silver because your quarterback future is not looking good, buddy. Yeah, I'd say, well, I'd ask him how much money he made at Alabama, and did they put it in gold and silver for him? Or is Nick Saban holding your money? I would do that with most of the Alabama guys. They all made money at Alabama. That's the farce of it. Talk about a dirty program. Alabama's as dirty as you can get. They're as dirty as Ohio State and Michigan paying their players. And so, when Mac Jones comes, he's taking a pay cut to go to New England. What New England sees in him, I have no idea. This is why I question Bill Belichick's the greatest coach. He made a mistake. He had Bledsoe who got hurt, and he went to Brady, and I don't know why he stuck with Brady, probably because Brady won every fucking game. So by accident, he goes to Brady, not because he thought Brady was better. Bledsoe gets hurt. If Bledsoe never gets hurt, nobody's ever heard of Brady. He doesn't. He goes to a different team, and he doesn't do shit. And he cries. He was this 6th-round draft pick, and that's it. So he's like sticking it to everybody. I'm going to play till I'm 90. And that's what he does. So we'll just keep betting on him until he can't throw the ball 10 yards. But right now he looks fine. We'll keep betting him. But that's what happens. So now Belichick has Zappy, but he goes away from Zappy, sees something in Jones which nobody else sees, and then is stuck with them as they keep losing and doesn't make the playoffs again. So he's the greatest coach in history because Brady took him to all these Super Bowls, and you measure greatness by how many Super Bowls you're in against no competition, and that's where I put in Joe Montana's 2 cents. That explains why most people them lose the hunger in the pros and often underperform. College football players make very little money. Now when you go to Alabama and Ohio State, they make a lot, and Clemson. They make more than most people. Don't kid yourself. Most people lose. What's changed now is back in the day, even when you were playing, Bobby, they didn't make that much. And, so they played hard to keep their jobs. Now, when you sign a $10 million contract, you make your money, you're gone. I'm surprised Stafford's coming back next year. What the fuck is he coming back for? He's got a Super Bowl ring. Go. What are you doing coming back? So I don't understand Stafford, but yes, if I get one of these $30 million offers, I'm gone. Give me $30 million. I'll never work another day in my life. I'll buy an island. I'll buy gold and silver with it, and that's it. We'll be set for life and my kids. So CGC, you're living in a fantasy world if you don't think college football players make money. They make a lot more than working at the summer jobs that they aren't supposed to work or stuff like that. But yeah, they make a ton. Most of them get pay cuts when they come into the NFL because the limits that they are put on them in the first year. So So basically, everything you can see everything before it happens if you know what to look for. I'm trying to teach you what to look for, but that's what economics is, right? Oh, what happens with the interest rates? Well, I talked to you about the trade cycle, right? This happens, that happens, this happens, that happens. They lower rates, money gets cheaper, all the male investments, everybody borrows. Then they have to raise interest rates because of the inflation. What is inflation? You reduce the purchasing power of the dollar, period. It creates higher prices on goods because it takes more dollars to buy it. And then we go, well, why isn't gold and silver going up? Because it's being held down. So we go, oh, fuck, we'll buy that. And then it'll go up because they can't hold it down forever. Well, they've held it down for 30 years. Well, now we got BRICS countries who want gold to go up and own all the gold. And they don't own 40,000 tons of gold if they don't think it's going to go up. Are you fucking kidding me? And then you see the U.S. blowing itself up by printing the money and raising the interest rates and fucking the rest of the world. Oh, we see all this. So there's got to be an effect on it, right? So as we see it happening, we know what's going to happen. The dollar explodes, gold to zero, which forces gold and silver up. It forces currency backed by gold, even in the U.S., and that's what happens. So we're ahead of the game. We know that's what's going to, we know we can't lose with gold and silver. We know we're going to get a whole lot more than 3% return on our investment. We're talking thousands of percent return on our investments without risk. We have no risk in gold and silver. What else can you say that in? You can buy, Microsoft stock. You have more risk in Microsoft stock than you do in gold and silver. But most people don't understand or realize that. I'm telling you that because you have no risk in gold and silver because it's been suppressed. So once it hits the market demanded price, that's where we make our gain. We're just waiting for that to happen. What is your risk of that happening? Zero. All right, let's say it goes up a little. All right, I need money. You sell it. It's the number one thing you can sell in the world at any country that everybody will buy. You walk into wherever, you want to go to Switzerland, you bring an ounce of gold. You don't think you can walk into a Swiss bank and sell it in 30 seconds? You don't think the Swiss want it or the Germans or the Austrians? I mean, they would buy it in about 4 seconds at any price. So if gold hits 30,000 an ounce, you walk into a Swiss bank, you don't think they're going to run to the safe to take the 30 grand out to pay you? Are you kidding me? So people who ask, well, when it goes up in value, am I going to be able to sell it? Fuck, if you're worried, go to Switzerland, go to the bank, you sell it in 5 seconds, or go to a coin store there or whatever. Jesus, you have no worry about selling it because everybody will want it because they'll realize at that point when the shit hits the fan, all the currencies are going to be garbage. Again, the yen, the yuan, the ruble, the British currency, and the euro are all going to shit, right? We know that. We can see it. So when that happens, where do you think everybody runs? They all run to gold. The whole world's going to run to gold and silver because there's no other place. They ain't running to Bitcoin because nobody knows what it is and where the price is. And the price isn't going to go up because the dollar goes down. Only gold and silver go up when the dollar goes down, not that. But if it's being manipulated and we know it, then of course that's why we see the price staying down. And when these idiots come out, when the Bernie Madoffs come out on YouTube and say, oh, well, gold's going down or silver's going down, and they're talking derivative paper, gold and silver, we don't give a fuck. We are not listening to you because the derivative's gone. We want the physical. Give me the physical. Give me that market. And Russia's coming out with that market, and we'll see what happens to their gold going through the roof. And the U.S. getting caught with their pants down, which is what the U.S. does when they're being run by fucking idiots. So that's what you see. So we're playing chess. You're already 5 steps ahead of the game, right? You bought it cheap. How can you lose on it? Bobby, how can you lose? You bought $28 silver or $30, your kangaroos. How can you lose on it? Where the fuck can it possibly go but up? It can't go down. You might sell it now because you need the money, but that's artificial. That's paper. You didn't buy paper. You bought physical. So if you would have bought an ETF, the paper derivatives, yeah, you could lose money on that because that's going to go to zero. That's all going to get fucked. But if you bought physical, what is your risk? You have no risk. So if you teach your family that you have no risk buying the gold and silver, again, what is this? Free girls chatting you? Yeah, I got girls I chat with. I don't need this shit. How do I keep getting this shit? You think I'd keep blocking them, they wouldn't keep coming back. Anyway, so if you explain it like that I have no risk because I bought physical and it's the paper that's going down, but I don't own paper, I own physical. I don't own ETFs. I can't lose. I'm going to probably make 20, 30,000% on my investment because I bought it silver at 25 an ounce and it's going to be, let's say 1,000. I mean, that's what, 400%. So that's probably the worst you're going to do. And if you just wait, it'll be $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 an ounce. And as gold goes up, silver goes up 5 times faster. Then you have you've just done something with zero risk in the portfolio. And you don't have a Bernie Madoff who's fucking you over saying, well, I have your money if you want it, but then you can't put it back in the fund. And, you don't have, it's just you and the gold, and you're sitting there and wait till you buy gold, Bobby. You're going to love it. You think you're hot. You think you get high watching your silver. Wait till you start buying a few ounces of gold. That'll really turn you on. Professor, you mentioned what to look for. Do you think other countries like Japan or European ones will collapse before the U.S. does, since they also print fiat? Yes, as I said, Japan has already collapsed. The euro is going out because there's really no country. It's the euro. It's a bunch of countries. Watch that dollar go out. Watch Japan go out. Pakistan's gone out. Sri Lanka's gone out, and Greece has gone out. So follow what happened in Pakistan or Sri Lanka to really get what's going to happen. But yes, so what happens is people are getting out of their dollar because they want to buy the U.S. dollar because they think the U.S. dollar is a safe haven. Little do they know, you got idiots like J.P. Morgan and Powell who are ruining the dollar, right? So the dollar's nowhere to go. What do I tell you? Get out of the dollar, right? So all these people, so let's say you're Japan, you're selling your yen for dollars because you think the dollar's safe. Now, I know in Japan, a lot of people have gold and they bury it in their backyards. I have read that. China has a ton of gold, but the government kind of steals it all. And the same thing with Russia. They have a ton of gold, but my girlfriend doesn't have any gold until I give her some, which I can't do until I meet her, which I can't do because the airports are closed. So my girlfriend in the Ukraine has gold and silver. She's somewhat protected. They're going to go bankrupt. That's what happens. You have the inflation. And if you look at what happened to like Argentina and Brazil, and just look at countries that have had the inflation, look at Zimbabwe. I think I've read you stuff on that, where Zimbabwe's inflation is like 3,000%. And they were actually selling gold in Zimbabwe to curb the inflation. So I read that article to you on one of our classes. So watch what happens. Look at the euro, look at the yen, go back to Sri Lanka and Pakistan, see what they did. They're all going to zero. Now, what'll probably happen, what you'll read is, because they don't want to scare people because the public's too stupid to understand anything, they'll come out with a new currency. So what you'll probably read is Japan came out with a new yen and or the euro came out with a new dollar. If they're not backed by gold, they're fucked anyway because all they did was switch paper for paper. So I'm switching this for that. I'm going to take this and now it's worth this. This is the new paper. I'll put a president's hat and a 20 on it to make it look like a $20 bill. So until they back their money by gold, it's all fake bullshit anyway, right? You don't want to own any of it. You only want to own gold and silver. That's why we're buying so much silver now at $25 an ounce. It's a fucking dinner. As costs go up, how come every cost you go buy Oreos now, Coke and Fritos, all those costs go up, but not gold and silver? Gold and silver has not gone up. Does that make any sense to anybody who is here in our class? Does it? And if it does, please explain it to me how that makes sense. Unless it's corrupted and being forced down manually by the Dark Lord, J.P. Morgan and Powell, and this BlackRock dude, how the fuck can it not be going up when every other price is going up? Doritos are going up, but silver doesn't. How can that make sense to anybody? How can it be real? That's an asset. Fritos and Doritos aren't even an asset. They're just fucking chips. And yet now it's $2.50 for a little 3-ounce bag at the grocery store. How can that go up because of inflation, but silver stay at $28? It's fucking impossible, and we all know it. Okay, wanted to make sure I understood. I think I'm in a 45-second delay in class. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. No problem, Phil. Yeah, that's what I try to do is watch, look at examples. That's what I do in football, right? How did Jacksonville play real quarterbacks? How did Miami play without Tagovailoa? Oh, they don't score. So that's what I try to teach. But watch what's happening in Europe and look at your FX. So let's do an FX right now, and that'll help Phil and the boys. All right, Tom Hanks is not a celebrity. If I saw that guy in the street, I'd punch him in the nose. So let's take a look first at gold price today. Yeah, it's still sitting there at 1,800 for some reason. So you notice how they keep manipulating it down. Silver's 23.41 and gold's at 18. Oh, gold's at 18.77. Well, look at gold go. Why is silver so low? Silver 23.41, but gold 18.77. So people think gold's moving, but gold ain't moving yet. Wait till it has a 2 in front of the 1, and it's 21,000. All right, so gold's 18.77. Look out. Oh, yeah, it's okay. Gold futures 18.81. Okay. I thought it was 18.20. So gold's up to 18.80. So if we go to the gold store now, you're paying $2,000 for the ounce that you could have bought it for 1,900. And this is what's going to happen, Bobby, is you want it, all of a sudden it's going to go, it's not going to be affordable. This is the professor's warning, right? If you wait too fucking long, you're not going to be able to afford it. All right, let's go to FX rates. So $1 buys you 93 cents of euro. So that's gone down. It used to be $1. Well, this isn't even current. This is as of the 9th. So why aren't I getting it current? Oh, it's 93. So if you go to Europe with $1, you get 93 cents back on the euro, which I don't understand. Let's go to let's go to the Indian rupee. So $1 buys you 81 rupees. 80 rupees, they're in big trouble. 81. So look for India to have major problems, but they're buying a lot of gold and silver. Let's go to Iran. So $1 is worth 41,000 rupees. Now it was 93 cents euros. So obviously the Iran is in big fucking trouble if it's 41,000. Let's go to Israel. Now, on the same token, it's 344 to Israel. So that shows you what's in trouble. 344 is not bad. 41,000, there's a problem. So Israel, maybe not much inflation. Let's go to Japan. 132.44. 120s break even. The Japanese are in big fucking trouble at 132. As you can see, it had gone up to 140. Yeah. I don't know how to make it go like for 6 months, but oh, wait here, for 1 month. So you can see it was near 140, and it's gone down, but it's still 132 is very dangerous. So that means it takes 132 Japanese yen to buy $1. Or if I go to Japan with $1, I get 132 yen. Does that sound like trouble? Yeah. So it's 81 for the rupee, which is terrible for the rupee. And let's go around the world a little bit more. We'll go. So we've gone to the euro. So there is no German. It's euro. But we can go. Let's go to Pakistan. And you can see they're in big trouble. 228. When you see a number like that, they're fucked, right? So it takes 228 to buy our dollar, which is not a picnic. Our dollar sucks. The Polish zloty, 436. So they're not in as bad a shape at 436 as you see them at 200. The British pound. Now they're at 82. Now, why the British pound is so strong makes no sense to me. I don't know if they back it with gold or silver or not. That's my guess. Some of it's back, but it's only 82. This is the best currency to own, even though that still sucks. So that's 82. The euro is 93. They've been selling US dollars, which is why theirs has gone better. The Romanian lei, 460. So Romania is okay. They're not too bad. The Russian ruble now is 69. Look where it spiked. December, it went all the way up to 80 for some reason. So let's go back a year. Once the sanctions, they were 140. And then now they back it by gold, and it spiked at 78, and now it's at 69. So when I send my girlfriend money, I give her $1, she gets 69 rubles. However, the costs have gone up so much that it doesn't buy, milk and bread. Let's go visit Sri Lanka. Another highly inflated country, 366. $1 buys you 366 Sri Lankas, or 366 Sri Lankas buys you $1. So if you live there, you're in the gold, because if you're keeping your paper, it's only gone, it's only going to get worse. The Swedish krona. So Sweden, everybody thinks that's a wonderful country. They're at 10-1. Not too bad, but still inflation. My Swiss franc, my favorite currency, of course, is at 93. It's the same as the euro. So it's better than the dollar, because not that they're not inflating, but they probably sold all their dollars, got out of it because of its trouble. So anything on the under $1 is better currency, but keep an eye on it. Turkish lira is 1878, so Turkey's going through inflation. This is how it starts, right? It's 4 or 5, then it goes to 18, then it goes to 50, then it goes to 100. The higher it is, the worse their inflation is. My Ukrainian, so when I send my girlfriend $100, she gets 367 Ukrainian hryvnias. I think she keeps dollars, but anyway, that's how she gets it. And it used to be 20-something. So if we go back a year, so it used to be 29 before the war. And then the war happens, and you see it. All of a sudden they go, well, we're spiking it. Now that was done by the government. They said now it's gone from 29, now it's 36. which is pretty scary that the government does that. United Arab Emirates, 367. Okay, that's not bad. And Zimbabwe. So Zimbabwe switched to dollars. It's now 18. But they used to have, see, so this is what happens. Zimbabwe comes out with a new dollar. That's what'll happen. That's what you do. So it's not like total chaos where then, oh my God, we're all going to die. We don't have money. They just come out with new currency, and they try to scam you and that you believe the new currency is going to be okay. And it isn't. It's still fucked. It's still bad currency, and it doesn't help. So you're still fucked with the new currency. Now, if you're these ball players making $1 million, so you're Tom Brady, what the fuck do you do with your money? You keep it in currency, you just played for nothing. You put it in the stock market, you're lucky if you don't know. If you didn't go on margin, you're lucky if you have anything of any value left once the market crashes because of the inflation. Inflation will crash the market. So the only thing that Tom Brady can do is buy gold and silver. But will he? Is his financial planner an Austrian like me? Now, if I'm his financial planner, he's got mountains of gold and silver. I'm asked to get paid in gold and silver. My contract would be I get paid in gold and silver physical, and I want it delivered every 15th and 31st of the month to my house and my vault in Switzerland. That's where you're sticking my money. He can't lose with that, but he can lose if he gets paper dollars and he invests it in the stock and bond market and they crash. So right now, the U.S. is trying to make it look like everything's fine. They don't want panic. So they're injecting money into the stock market. The stock market, oh, yeah, it's 32,000. Everything's fine. So it's the false sense of belief everything's fine. Gold is down. So gold, yeah, you don't want to be in gold because if we look at gold down, what do we think the money's worthless? That's the trick that the JP Morgan doesn't want to see in the central bank. If gold goes to 2,500, people get nervous. Why is gold? Oh, is there a problem with the money? People don't understand gold, but they do understand when it goes up, it's because the dollar's fucked, and they understand that. That's why they'll never do a gold come to your house and steal your gold, because then they'll admit the dollar's trash, and they can't do that. That's also why you buy silver. They will never take your silver. So if they do try to take your gold, we fly to Switzerland, we put it in the vault, and off we go, and we put it there. Or you give it to your European girlfriend, and she tucks it away safe and sound, or not a bank, but a storage area in Berlin or someplace where it's safe, and you just go get it. Nobody's coming to your house knocking on the door. That can't happen. They can maybe get you when you sell it and with the tax, and okay, we're going to tax you 30% on your gain. So that leads you to go to Canada or Europe to sell it. They might do that, but I doubt it. I mean, it's what do they do it with Rolex? No, it'll be the same thing as they do on eBay now if you sell it on eBay. So I'm not anticipating that happening. Because they own gold and silver. Look at JP Morgan. You think JP Morgan would want to tax himself? Hell no. So keep in mind, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, and they'd have to then tax themselves, which they're never going to do. Phil, gold at least sees some fluctuation. Silver is locked in a $4 range. Do you think silver may be even more manipulated than gold, or no? Well, what do you think, silver or Phil? You just answered your own question. Yeah, silver is much more manipulated because gold's really used for money. That's gold's purpose. Silver is used in batteries and cell phones and computers. So it's got two uses. One is money, and one, you need it to make things. And you cannot substitute silver. You have to have it. So they're keeping the price down so people can buy it. Tesla can buy it for their batteries, solar, all the uses of silver. And so, yes, it's totally more manipulated. As I just said, if Oreos went from $2 to $5 for a little packet, and everything, and milk's up and eggs is up and my red and yellow peppers are up, why isn't silver up? Only because it's manipulated. Don't give me there's no demand, because I know China and India have such a big fucking huge demand for silver. It's through the roof. And if you listen to half these idiots who at least understand the silver supply, going, everybody's buying it. All the banks, central banks, regular banks. JP Morgan has 600 million ounces. So people are buying it. Don't kid yourself. So if they're all buying it, then that's demand, right? If nobody buys my Canadian club, it goes to zero because there's no price. But if I got all this huge demand, I should see price go up, but I don't, but I have the demand. So the question you're asking is there demand for silver? Of course there's demand for silver. There's demand for gold and silver because it's real money, and this is going to shit. So how many people understand this is going to shit? Me, you, people in the class, and maybe 20 others in the world or in the U.S. understand what the fuck's really going on, what the fuck inflation really is, and how the money's going to zero, and they better bail out. Now, people see Oreos are more, oh, my food's more expensive. But they don't understand is, well, it's supply chain. There's inflation, and that's why the prices are up. So the Fed will raise rates, and that'll lower the inflation, which it won't. And the supply will go back, and then the prices will drop, which will never happen because this is not going to stop. You can't keep printing. The only way to stop inflation is to stop printing and then somehow raise the rates to 20% and then get everybody to put the money back in the bank and blow it all up, which is not going to happen. So people don't get it. They think raising rates stops inflation, which it won't. All it does is make money more costly. Why would it stop inflation? You're printing money. That's the inflation. You're not stopping to print it. Therefore, why would it stop? Bobby, silver been at 24 for a while now. Phil, I'll give myself a small pat on the back for noticing the obvious. There you go, Phil. Well, Bobby, again, don't get caught in the trap of the derivative paper JP Morgan manipulated price. Is the demand in India and China and Russia for silver up? Absolutely. Is it up here? Absolutely. You go to the coin store, does he have the silver? Why did the price go up? The only way this silver price, when you go to the store, goes up is due to demand. If I can't sell it, why can I raise the price to 35? How do I sell the Eagles at 35 when the spot's 24 if there's no demand? When I walk into the store and I see there's no gold and silver, that's somebody's buying it, right? That's the demand. So of course there's huge demand for gold and silver. Silver even more because it's only, as Bobby just said, $24. Maybe he pays $28, $30 at the silver store or buys kangaroos and whatever he wants, and he pays $30 for it. Why are you paying more than spot? Because of the demand. Why are you buying it? Because it's cheaper than gold, especially now if gold's at 1877. Now I'm really hammering silver because now it's going to cost me $2,000 for my ounce of gold, which is telling me how much the dollar is dropping in value because really now it costs me more to buy the gold. And this is where JP Morgan, this is the beginning, boys. They can't hold all their fingers in the dikes and the water's starting to leak and they can't keep the price down because the derivative market is broken and they can't keep shorting it to keep the price down because nobody wants to fucking buy it because all the banks are long in gold and silver because now they realize there's no demand, the supply's gone, huge demand, the price is going up. Why would I want to short it? If I short it, it means I think the price is going down. Who the fuck thinks the price is going down in this economic environment? I would tell you if I thought the price is going down because I want to protect you. There's no way it's going down. You keep printing this. It takes more of these to buy it. How the fuck is the price going down? How in God's name can the price go down if you keep printing, lowering the value of the dollar? If you keep lowering the value, how can silver go down and gold? They're assets. We got to understand the basic concept. They're assets and they're money. They cannot go down in value, unlike Bitcoin, which is going down in value because nobody wants it. Well, why would nobody want Bitcoin? Because it's not real. It's not money and it's not an asset. Gold and silver are, and as the money drops, gold and silver go up. So that is your $1 million answer to your question. Bobby, laugh out loud. Yeah, I love my kangaroos. Well, I love mine. I got one gold half ounce I recommend to buy. I love it. It's kind of unique, the kangaroo. My 10 Eagles should be coming this week. Gold or silver? Or you buy silver? I wish you'd buy gold, Bobby. Then you'll really get off looking at your gold. Phil, I seen the new 2023 Walking Liberty just came out. The premium is ridiculous right now on them, though. Why buy the 23 if the 22 is cheaper? We're buying the ounce of gold or the ounce of silver. We're not give a fuck what year it is or the limited. We're not buying it as an investment. We're not buying it as a limited edition Bobby Orr card. We're buying it because it's Bobby Orr. We're buying this because we're buying it. We're buying the ounce because of how it's priced. Gold's $18.77 an ounce. It doesn't say gold's $18.77 for a US ounce. For a Canadian ounce, for a kangaroo, it's for an ounce. You have an ounce of gold printed by a mint. It says 1 ounce, $9.99 pure gold. It's worth $18.77 on COMEX. Once it gets away from COMEX onto reality, that's when we're going to see a 5 in front of that $18.77, and we all go look for an island to buy. I know I'm just mentioning how much more they want for being 23. No, I understand what you're saying, Phil, and I'm making the point. Why do I want it? What do I care if it's 23 or 22? What do I care? I mean, I don't know. I'm buying Cougarans that say 1990 on it. I don't give a shit. As long as it says 1 ounce of gold and it's Cougaran and it's real and it looks real, I could give a shit what year it is. Because we're not looking at it for that. Now, if we were investing, if I was buying a Tom Brady card, I would want to buy one that says out of 100 or out of 50 versus just a regular card. But the price is going to be different. See, that's what separates the cards from the gold. I'm buying 1 ounce of gold, and there could be 10 different manufacturers of gold. We don't care. We don't care the year. We care it's 1 ounce of gold, but that's what it is. 1 ounce of gold, 1 ounce of silver. Tom Brady has 50 different cards. So depending on the card, depends on the value. Oh, it's his rookie chrome refractor. That's worth $100,000. Oh, it's his regular Topps third-year card. Oh, that's worth $25. So there's a differentiation in baseball cards. You've got to get the certain one, the right one, the rookie card, the refractor, the numbered card gives you different values, but not in gold and silver. You're buying an ounce of gold, you're buying an ounce of silver. That's what it is. That's what you want to get. So we don't care. I don't care that Bobby buys kangaroo, and that's why I don't say you should buy Eagles, Bobby, or kangaroos, or British, or Maple Leafs. As long as you buy the ounce of gold, the ounce of silver, you're fine because look how it's sold. 1 ounce of silver, 1 ounce of gold. Now, you'll be much happier when the silver gets 2,000, gets a 2 in front of gets a 2 and a 2 in front of its 23. No, yeah. So it'll be 2,223. We'll all be much happier than this 23, but we're smart enough to understand the 23 is bullshit. The real price is much higher, so we keep buying it. So, Bobby, did you buy silver or gold Eagles? Mac Jones rookie card is worth nothing because there's no demand for it. So let's get into that, right? I just mentioned Bobby. Okay, so why is Mac Jones rookie card worth 10 cents? Because there's no demand for Mac Jones because he sucks. Maybe some people at Alabama, like his parents, would buy it, but me and Bobby and anybody who wanted to make money buying baseball cards, football cards, would look at the guy going, he sucks. I wouldn't buy Tagliabue for more than 5 cents. Or Trevor Lawrence, I would give you 5 cents. Or Fields, or any of these idiots, 5 cents. The ones I would, Mahomes, and then so the ones you would give a lot for are the ones you bet in the playoffs. Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, maybe. Herbert, we're waiting on him. Jalen Hurts, absolutely not. Aaron Rodgers, yes. Brady, yes. Brock Purdy, I would definitely buy Brock Purdy cards for the $5 they're selling for because I think he showed he's a really good quarterback and he has a chance to win the Super Bowl this year. He's got no competition. His only competition in the NFC is probably the Seattle game he's got this week. Is probably the only competition, and maybe Tom Brady, but I don't think so. Not with Philadelphia, where Cincinnati and Kansas City and Buffalo kind of are going to, I think Cincinnati ends up playing Frisco, and that'll be a good game. And that'll be the third time they play. It's really ironic how every time Cincinnati's in the Super Bowl, they're either playing Joe Montana or Brock Purdy now. Bobby, I got silver. Have you made any trips to the coin store so far this year? Yeah, I bought the 1 ounce silver and gold. I got the 1 ounce Make Believe, and I bought the 20 ounce Buffaloes. I'm waiting for, I'm really waiting for a new job or new income. Right now, I'm holding my money because I don't want to sell my gold at this price. So once gold hits, I'll retire and go live on an island somewhere with my girls, and off we go. But that's what I'm waiting for. So I just got to be patient. But I'm pretty much done working. I'll just do this and educate. But right now it's tight to spend it until I know. But that's the reason I'm not. Otherwise, I'd be buying more of it. Bobby, I am considering gold as well. What are you waiting for, Bobby? Gold to hit $25,000 an ounce, and then you're going to consider it? The same thing happens with gold as happening with silver. It's going to go through the roof. It's $18.77, so you just cost yourself at least $100 an ounce. It's going to cost you $2,000 for an eagle. If you can get a kangaroo or a maple leaf, I would recommend it, or a cougaran, but you're now going to pay $2,000 for the ounce. Do you want to pay $10,000 for the ounce? So I don't know what you're waiting on. This is not, you're just fucking yourself by waiting because it ain't going down. There's huge demand and they're fucking the currency. So I don't know what you're waiting for, but you need to buy gold. See, gold will go from 2,000 to 50,000. Silver will go from 20 to 2,000. So you're going to do all right either way. I would maybe buy more silver. You can buy a few ounces of gold, do it. Otherwise, you'll be trading in 5-6 ounces of silver for an ounce of gold that way. So your silver will be used to buy gold. So you can do that. You'll buy a nice house and a nice boat with your gold, Ferrari, nice Mercedes, so it depends what you want to do. But at least keep buying the silver. Phil, last year I was really debating between a Herbert rookie card and a Burrow rookie card. I think that seems like an easier question now, though. I would be buying Burrow all day. Absolutely. Where can we purchase these cards? Go to eBay. They still have card shops, Bobby, on Amazon or eBay, lots of places. I would go to eBay and I would buy one that's not graded for a cheap price. Like when I show you my Montana, which I am hoping it's a 10, but I'm assuming it's a 9, I probably paid $75 at a card show, but I could inspect it. So if you see a mint condition on eBay that's not graded, you can get for $100. Get the Montana Rice rookie. Get the Brady rookies. You'll never get the Jordan rookie, the 86 Flair. That's $1.5 million PSA 10. You could buy a PSA. You could buy some PSA 9s and just keep in mind that it's not going to hit the PSA 10 price. But if you're going to go into PSA 10s for these guys and spend a lot, buy the fucking gold. See, the gold hasn't gone up yet on eBay. If you get the Brady rookie, it's a PSA 10, it's going to cost you $100,000. You're better off buying 50 ounces of gold because gold's still down at. See, the Brady card will be at $100,000. It's already went from $5 to $100,000. You're going to get the same kick in gold, but gold's still waiting for you. So wait. So get into the gold. Let that go to the $100,000. That's what I'm saying. But when I bought the Brady rookie refractor, I bet I didn't pay more than $100 for it. I bet I paid $50 or $60, and it was after he won a Super Bowl. So I didn't even buy it right away. I bought it 2 or 3 years in. Okay, he's won a Super Bowl. Maybe he had won his second Super Bowl. I don't know. I went to a card show and bought it, and it was in perfect condition. It's a beautiful card. It's a refractor, highly limited, but I was able to look at it, and then I bought it very cheap. Now, I never in my wildest dreams imagined it would be a $7,500,000 card, again, as a PSA 10. As a 9, it's probably $10,000, $15,000. But I never dreamed it would be worth more than $100 because cards never went up in value. But just as the cards came out graded PSA 10, and now the Montana card went from 100 to 100,000, same with the Rice, same with the Elway, same with a lot of the cards. That's what's going to happen to gold. And you could have bought the Brady, but you didn't. Now you got to pay for it. That's what I'm warning you on gold and silver. I'm telling you what's going to happen before it happens, just looking at what else is happening. And that's what I'm trying to explain. So you got to get out of your cash, which is worthless, going to zero, into assets that have a much huger upside. Bobby, Professor, when do you think the recession officially begins? It officially began 6 months ago. There's slowdown in everything. Prices have gone up. That's inflation, not a recession, but it causes recessions because things are more expensive. The more expensive things are, the less you buy. What a recession is a slowdown in the economy. It's really nothing bad. It's a slowdown in the economy. Well, the economy's definitely slowed down. But you're already in the middle of one, Bobby, so don't kid yourself and don't listen to the government or Biden say, oh, there's no recession. It's just a slowing of the economy. And anytime you have raising interest rates and cost of money goes up, you have a recession. You have to, because you have less money to spend. Of course, you're going to buy less. So that's a no-brainer. Bobby, not to get off subject, Professor, but do you like Caribbean food? Probably. I don't know that I have a lot of it. What's Caribbean food? I'd probably eat it with you. I'm enjoying the nice plate of jerk chicken with rice and peas right now, and it's fucking great. Yeah, I mean, that sounds good. I don't know what jerk chicken is, but I like chicken. So, yeah, I mean, I would enjoy that. Bobby, what kind of food do you eat in Europe? Mostly meat and chicken, stuff that I know what it is. So I'll get, if I go, like, we found barbecue places. So I got ribs and steaks, and they're really, if you can find a place that makes American steaks, not only are they fantastic, they're so cheap, especially in the Ukraine and Romania. I would get steaks and just, they're $10 and they're fucking gourmet and they taste great. They know how to cook steaks in Europe. So, I mean, mostly that or chicken that I know I can count on, that it's not fucked up. And, I don't know what they're cooking, but it tastes good. And some of the shit, like when we had breakfast at the hotel, the eggs were watery. So I'm trying to get bacon and eggs, and I go to the eggs and it's half of it's water. I'm complaining. What kind of fucking chef at a 5-star restaurant is serving watery eggs? Well, that's what we do in Lisbon. So fortunately, some lady heard me and came over and said, we can do omelets for you. So I got the omelet, which was fine. The bacon was okay. A lot of the meats are kind of weird tasting there. So really, you're just tasting the food going if you can eat it or not, especially the breakfast buffets. You can always find, if you have to, you go to the cakes, you go to the cookies, you go to the eggs and the bacon, and a lot of coffee and tea and stuff like that. But I haven't been to a Chinese restaurant in the Ukraine. I don't know if they have any, but not a lot. Phil, you probably have really good Caribbean food options in Florida, Bobby. I would bet less so up north outside of maybe New York. Yeah, I don't know that there is a Caribbean restaurant here. I don't think so, but I get my Chinese, I get my barbecue. I go to the grocery store and buy my chicken and my ribs and my steaks, and I get to be Gordon Ramsay. So I'm fine with that. Plus, it's healthy because I'm not eating the crappy barbecue sauce and the ketchups that are high in high fructose corn syrup. So I'm eating much more healthy stuff. Bobby, yeah, I agree. That we've been in a recession, but when will the Fed finally submit and stop sugarcoating it? Like, Bobby, you are naive. Why would the Fed ever stop saying it? They're trying to brainwash you. They are trying to make you think gold has no value. They are keeping the price of gold and silver down by derivatives by JP Morgan. So they're saying gold's not even good to own. You've got to get over that first hurdle, Bobby. You've got to open your eyes. JFK was shot by the CIA. Bobby Kennedy was shot by the CIA. We never went to the moon, and 9/11 was a gold robbery. So you've got to grasp your hands around that. The government doesn't want to tell you the truth. They want power and control over you. They want to fuck up the money so you're broke. Now, those are just basic fundamental issues that we have with the government. Then in the schools, what are they teaching? Why aren't they teaching gold and silver as money? Why aren't they teaching you about inflation? Because they don't want you to know. So it's all pretty obvious when you just try to understand it that they don't want you to know any of this shit. So therefore, they're not going to tell you. So when it comes to a recession or buy gold and silver, you're never going to hear it from the government because that's their power. Their power is to scare you, so you need the government. That's their power and their role. And if I scare you, now you need me, now I'm important. Because they're really not important, but people don't understand it because they don't have a fucking clue about anything. That's the problem, right? That's really the problem in the world is nobody understands that the governments are all corrupt and trying to make us all be, need them and cradle to grave government and go to public school and all this shit is such bullshit, but they don't want it. What are they going to tell you? Madoff? I'm a fraud. I don't really buy gold. I don't really buy stocks. I have no gold or silver. I've never bought a stock with your money. What do you think he's going to tell you that? Well, it's the same thing. You think the government's going to tell you they're Bernie Madoff? Fuck no, they're never going to tell you that. You're going to be stupid and ignorant and just, I'm going to watch my TV shows and I'm going to go get drunk because I live in this shit life because I'm controlled by the government, but I am too stupid to understand and think outside the box that I'm being manipulated and controlled by a bunch of assholes who are making a fortune printing money. And I'm just sitting here like an idiot working my job, making a little bit of money, paying taxes on it. That's the government. Next. Yeah, Phil, Florida has a couple of good spots, but New York definitely has more options for Caribbean food. How are we getting on Caribbean food, Bobby? See, everything we're talking about, and you're going to Caribbean food. What are you doing, Bobby? Come on, get with the program. Phil, one step at a time. Bobby just figured out who exactly Kennedy was recently. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Bobby. Okay. Yeah, we're nice to Bobby. We like Bobby. Phil, that's okay, though. He focused on baseball, made millions, now getting caught up. Yeah. Well, if he made millions, then please explain why he doesn't have an ounce of gold. That's what I can't figure out with Bobby. He made millions of dollars playing baseball, but all he buys is silver. Where's your gold? See, I'm gonna be the professor right now and go, well, Bobby's rich, should have a shitload of gold, has no gold. He's thinking about buying it. So now I'm like, where's all your money, Bobby? Why do you keep buying 10 ounces of silver? A man like you who made millions in baseball should have a shitload of gold and silver. So now I'm digging. I'm showing you how to analyze somebody. Is he really Bernie Madoff? What did he do with his money? Did he scam everybody? Like, come on, Bobby, we're shining the light on you. Where's all your money that you made from baseball? And I'm sure a lot of it's in his IRA, which he should be selling to get out of money and out of stocks into gold and silver. And I know he's been working on that. And I'm just teasing you, Bobby, but I am. These are legitimate questions that when you analyze, you go, why isn't Bobby buying gold? Having played Major League Baseball, should have a lot of money, unless a lot of women and drugs and, he's been to Russia and the Ukraine, I guess. Sean, Buzz Aldrin confirmed what you said about the moon, Professor. Well, yeah, that was pretty easy. Haha, maybe he's just very thrifty. I don't know. Well, let's see what Bobby's answer is. Well, yeah, I knew they never went to the moon because I remember, first of all, you could see different lights and shadows. Secondly, it was when you saw the capsule, I saw it somewhere on like the History Channel. Nobody could fit inside of it. It was too small to actually fit people in it. So there was no way they went. And okay, so they went to the moon once, but didn't go to the moon a second time. Plus, the radiation would kill them if you get more than 100 miles outside the Earth's atmosphere. You die from radiation poisoning. So how did they do it? Right? How did they get up there without dying of radiation poison? Then you have, we'll wait till the World Trade Center was the gold robbery. Wait till that comes out. I'm telling you that's what happened because I saw videos of it. And when I talked to Lear, the guy, the jet manufacturer, who was a pilot, said you couldn't hit the Trade Center. You could not have a little plane like that and fly it into the Trade Center. It would be virtually impossible to steer it in a city like that and hit the building. And then for it to blow up, I was watching something on 9/11 the other day, and you could just see the boom, this floor be demolished. It was a demolition. You could see it. Boom, 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 boom. If it was oil from the plane, it would just go. It wouldn't go this floor, this floor, this floor, this floor. You fucking kidding me? And then the second building, and then building 7, which didn't even get hit by a plane, went up, and nobody's curious asking the question, why did building 7 go up when it didn't get hit by a plane? Really? We'll just let that one go. Oh, okay. And then you got idiot Bush saying, well, this changed. Now we need TSA and security. And now everybody has to take their belt off and their shoes off when they go on a plane because they could be terrorists. What the fuck are you talking about? In America, we don't think like that. We want to go to Vegas. We are not going to blow up the plane to go to Vegas until we lose all our money in Vegas. Then we'll probably blow up the casino, not the plane. Why would we blow up planes in America? What the fuck are you talking about? Now, if you know terrorists, which I'm sure know the names, you just put them on the list. And when they go through with their ticket, you don't let them on the plane because they're terrorists. That's all you got to do. You don't hold up me and Bobby and Phil because of some idiot, that was in cahoots with Bush and whatever mafia was behind it all, and some idiot who redoes his building insurance for terrorist attack a week before, and floor 101 doesn't show up to work. It's a holiday on a Tuesday or a Monday. They had a holiday and nobody reported to work the day the building blew up. But no, that's not coincidental. No, not at all. I'm sure that floor 101, all 500 employees normally get a Monday off as a holiday. Really? How stupid do you fucking think we are? Phil, we are not sure what tech is out there. It is only shown to public after decades of classifying use. Boy, I've heard some stories, but I can't back it up. We don't even need oil or energy. That the aliens have already given us stuff that are far superior to oil. Like we don't even need oil for anything, but we use it. But the aliens gave us stuff. I mean, that's most of the stuff came from the aliens, the airplane, the rocket. Where do you think we figured that out from? So we're just sitting there in the 1901 and we're going to make a plane on our own. We're just going to say, I wonder if we can, we don't even know to call it flying. I wonder if we could fly. Who the fuck thinks that? I mean, you got to be kidding me. So it was given to them, and the computer and the TV and all the stuff we have. The technology has been given to us by the aliens. I can't prove that, but where else is it coming from, right? So that's really what's going on in the world. And again, how do you know that? So we can't trust any bank or central bank because they're all cheating us. They all want to print dollars and put it in their back pockets because they're all about themselves. They don't care about us. If they did, there wouldn't be a central bank. Everywhere there's a central bank and there's taxes or tariffs, which is a tax, they're fucking the people over, which is every country. Why does every country have a central bank when it's not needed? You don't need a central bank. I'm not sure you need a bank. Just somewhere to store your money. Go to work, take your money, stop taxing me. Let me put it in a storage locker, and off I go. And then I go buy stuff, and we'll have the free market. I don't need a bank. The only reason people need a bank or think they need a bank is to put their money in. You don't get interest off of it, and there's a lot more inflation that kills the value of your money than helps the value of your money, right? If they wanted to help your money, it would be backed by gold and silver, which it's not. Why isn't it? Bobby's answer. You said it perfectly, Professor. Most spent the week working and watching TV, then getting drunk on weekends. I've always wondered if the Egyptians built the pyramids, why they can't say how they did it. Makes me think they didn't build them, that's for sure. Well, exactly. How could they have built them? I blew on women, drugs, and booze. Well, that's a good thing to blow them on, Bobby. That's better, but unfortunate you didn't buy some gold and silver with them too. But I understand. I mean, you don't know economics. You don't know gold and silver. You get the big money, you spend it. The women and this is my point about women. Women just sit there and attack rich guys for their money. That's why it's very hard, if a beautiful woman comes up to you, you got to be very careful her reason, and you really got to dig. And just like I tell you, you've got to be very abstract. Like, what do you want? You got to read her. She's got to prove it to you. You got to date her. Don't fuck her the first date. Yeah, we want to, but then she's going to want money, and then she's going to get. My favorite is my girlfriend in Romania, Carmen, who all she wants is money from me, and I just laugh at her. I go to her and say, I don't have any money. I'm not working. It's all gold and silver. I can't give you any money. She gets so upset. And she says, I need a rich boyfriend, not a poor boyfriend. And I'm like, I'm not even your boyfriend. I don't, what do you want? I've taken her on trips, but I've moved on. Like she's very pretty, but not my type. And I've read through her that all she cares about is the money. And the reason I found that out, we'd go to dinner and she'd order drinks that were $20 a piece. I think I've mentioned this before. And I'd get mad at her like, dude, I can afford a $60 dinner with you, right? Sushi, I'm getting my chicken and we'll have a Coke or something. You can have a cocktail for $5. But when you make my bill 120 because you've ordered three $20 drinks, I said, the next time you do that, you're paying for your own drinks. God forbid you lift your wallet out to help pay for the dinner, which was bad enough, but I paid for your plane ticket. We're in LA. She's from Romania. So I buy her the plane ticket to go there. She, so she doesn't pay for the ticket. I get the hotel, so we're in the hotel. I pay for Disneyland. I pay for the Ubers. I pay for Universal Studios. And she has the nerve to buy $20 drink. I said, look, I don't mind spending, in Disney. Fuck, it was $150 to get in. It was Memorial Weekend like 2 years ago. It was $150 a ticket to go into Disneyland. It was $300, and just to walk in the fucking door, not get the quickie pass. So I said, I'll spend, but I'm not going to spend $60 so you can get 3 drinks, and I don't benefit from it. So that's when you're in trouble. She doesn't care what she spends out of your money and doesn't lift her finger. My Ukrainian girlfriend's not like that. She's very conscious of price. She won't do that. And I got her perfume for Christmas when we were leaving Portugal, and she said, "Oh, that's $100. That's too much." And she got the $70 one. And I was like, "That's fine. It's Christmas." But she was so I can trust her more than I can trust. And then that's really how you do it. You just see how they spend your money. Phil, haha, Bobby. Well, at least you had fun blowing money and didn't give it to the Madoff. I think it'd have been better if you gave it to Madoff, and then he can at least have it. Oh, I gave it to Madoff instead of that. But that's okay, Bobby. We have no problem. We still love you. It's a guy thing. Laugh out loud. That was joke, Professor. Most to the kids and locked in few investments. I need gold and silver now that I am getting more educated. Well, that's okay. You could. I'm sure you spent some on women and drugs and booze. Most to the kids and locked in few investments. So get out of your investment in the gold now. Helped a lot of family out. Laugh out loud, which I no longer do. Yeah, I don't help my family out either. It's all about Bobby Bo from here on out. Well, that's I'm not trying to be mean to you. I understand, but it's hard if you're making a lot of money. People come after your money, and you tend to you try to help them, and that's where problem is when they make up story. Oh, my mom has a surgery and I need 10 grand. That's when you just say, I don't have it. Now, if it's your girlfriend that you've been dating, like me, and I've met them in different places, and I know they're real and I know their situation, I'm more apt to help them as a girlfriend. But yeah, you got to be careful with that. But that's okay, Bobby. Well, by taking care of Bobby Bo, you take care of. Now, I'm surprised your kids and your family don't listen to you with silver and gold and don't go, hey, that's a good idea, assuming they have some money to buy silver with. But that's okay. There's nothing wrong with spending money on girls. We all spend money on girls. If one way or the other, no matter who it is, you're spending money on women. That's a fact. And a little bit of food. I don't do drugs, but it's easy to do drugs. I mean, you're trying to escape this world that the government's painted for us. This incredibly, you're going to pay taxes. You must have hated your paychecks when you lose 40, 50% to the government, right? Here you get this big check, and there it goes. I mean, that's another reason I would have asked to get paid in gold and silver. That they can't really tax it. But yeah, it's ridiculous, the taxes they steal from you. You win the lottery, you win $5 million. Why does the government get 2.5 million of it? Why do they get 50%? They're now when we lose, they're not our partners, but when we win, now they're our partners and we got to pay tax. Why do we got to pay tax? It's not income. Define income for me. It's not income. So if I make a bet and I win on, San Francisco beating Seattle, why is that income to me? I risked my money and I won. It's not income. It's a bet. Let's look at the definition of income. I mean, this shit pisses me off. The definition of income: money received, especially on a regular basis for work or through investments. He has a nice home and an adequate income. That is not income. Sorry. How do you define income? The term income generally refers to the amount of money, property, or other transfers of value received over a set period of time in exchange for services or products. That's a bullshit answer. That is not what income is. Income definitions, type example, taxes. What is income? Refers to the money that a person or entity receives in exchange for their labor or products. That's not what income is. You're getting paid in dollars as opposed to avocados, right? So Bobby goes and hits the baseball, and the New York Mets say, Bobby, we're going to give you 1,000,000 avocados. Are you going to tax that? No. Why aren't you taxing it? Because he can get paid any way he wants. That is not income. The money, they just choose money so he can go buy food and girls and steaks, and he can use the money to pay his expenses with. Does not make it income. There is no such thing as income. You are getting paid in dollars in lieu of working. If you didn't work, they wouldn't owe you. Is not income and should not be taxed. I'm not sure there is anything that really is income. I don't know, maybe your savings, making your money on your savings, they give you the 2% tax. Is that income? Maybe. Hard to say, but that's working is not income. Working is just simply they're paying you in lieu of work. I'll have to check my notes because I know we went over this in class that you working, they're just paying you in dollars. Does that mean it's income? It's just you mow the lawn, I'm giving you $25 to mow the lawn because I have to give you something because you're providing a service for me. Where is that income? I don't really know that there is a real thing called income. It really isn't. It's not. That's really not income because you mowed the lawn, right? If you mowed the lawn, okay, what do I do to barter the service? Now, you could say, I'll tell you what, I'll mow your lawn, take me to the grocery store and buy me $25 worth of groceries for mowing the lawn. I would do that in a heartbeat because I'm going to use the money to buy groceries anyway. And this is why I'm not taxed on it because it's not income. That's what the barter system is, right? It's I do this, you give me that. Maybe I mow your lawn, you give me a half of a cow. Maybe I mow your lawn and Bobby gives me 5 steaks. I'll take that over money because there's no tax on it. Why should I get taxed on doing something when it's the way he's giving me to do the service he needs? A plumber, a painter. It's not fucking income, and it shouldn't be taxed. That's bullshit. It's taxed. That's JP Morgan fucking with you again, and the government fucking with you. So anytime you do something, if you can get paid not in dollars, and you can say, look, I'll tell you what, take me to the grocery store. You do somebody like I'll drive you to the airport. I don't want money for it. Take me to the grocery store. Let me shop $100 worth. And that'll be payment for me taking you to the airport. I would do that all day and night. Bobby, I did blow a lot of money, though. That's what happens when you're young with a lot of money. Well, of course, that's why I understand, Bobby. That's why you needed me back then, and you would have bought some gold and silver. And the gold and silver was when you played in the 80s and 90s. This was bought in 1995. Gold was $250 an ounce. Imagine all the gold you could have bought in 1995. You'd be sitting there, king of the world. I mean, you'd have you'd have a ton of gold. You would literally have 32,000 ounces of gold at the $250 price in 1995 when I graduated with my master's. This was my master's present because I was taught about assets and gold. And I was going to buy the class ring, which was not gold, for $800. So I got this, which was gold, which I thought was the appropriate price with the master's in finance and economics to get a gold bracelet at $250 an ounce for gold. This cost me $500, so I'm assuming it's 2 ounces, but it might be I had to pay markup and I had to pay the designer and all that shit. So I don't know if it's an ounce or 2. I don't really care, but it's worth a hell of a lot more now. Bobby, we all blow money. Not a big deal. If you didn't blow money, I'd worry about it. But I just wish you would have bought a little bit. But again, you weren't educated in it. They didn't teach it in your high school or college because the government doesn't want you to know about it. Phil, if I recall, they also claimed the income tax would be a temporary thing during World War II and just never took it away. No, it was done in 1913. When the Federal Reserve came in, they did income tax. And at the time, the income tax was reduced by the standard deduction. So really, you weren't supposed to pay tax. But in 1913, let's say you made $1,500 a year. The standard deduction was $1,500. So theoretically, you didn't owe tax, right? Here you go, do your tax return. Okay, I made so much. My tax is $1,500. My deduction's $1,500. I zero. And if you notice, the deduction went from percentage to flat rate. So now it's, you get a $12,000 deduction, but your tax is 20-30%. I mean, come on, what are we, fucking idiots? Why isn't our standard deduction 20-30%? Because that's what it's supposed to be. We shouldn't be paying any tax. But it came in 1913 when the central bank came in. I think I did that in my notes. I'll note to redo it. That's what it is. It's a government control. They took us off the gold standard when they did the central bank, which caused the Great Depression. So really what caused the Great Depression is the central bank, because you couldn't print gold, and therefore you would never have inflation, and you would never have this terrible economy with the stock market crashing, because it would never crash, because it would only go up because of earnings of the companies. So if you liked the company and it went up from a new product or Ford Motor, they're selling car. Okay, I'll buy stock. And it can never go down without the inflation. So really that was mostly what the Depression was. They printed money, the roaring 20s, which led to the Depression of the 29, which should have ended in 30. But our buddy FDR, who's the worst president than Biden, fucked everything up. Bobby, thanks, Professor. I'm glad I didn't get expelled from class for the past and women drug. Well, we all have past women and drugs and booze. I never did a lot of drugs or booze, but a lot of women. I only drink now about 3 or 4 times a month, but no drugs. Well, that's good, Bobby. Yeah, you want to be a bright guy. You want to be smart. You want to have a lot of money. Then you get the women. To me, it was always more important to have the women than to get drunk. I never saw a big thing in getting drunk. I didn't like to lose control, and being a professor, I can't. So it was more important for me to the women than it was to get drunk. And then what do I do? And then pass out and have headaches, kill my liver, all that. So you need a lot of intermittent fasting, Bobby, to clean up your liver and your kidneys after all the drinking. But be careful with it. It's a very bad thing. And again, it's the government trying to do it. So they want you to get sick and die. They want you to drink. It's a ton of sugar. So really, it shouldn't be there. Just like smoking really shouldn't be legal. It's terrible for you. It's like you're taking poison. Who the fuck wants to take poison? But it's the same thing. That's what it is. And then they try to put it in a movie, where Paul Newman's smoking, or the Don, is smoking, and so you think it's cool, and you smoke, and you get the women if you smoke, or you drink, and that's how you get I remember Marlboro commercials, and the guy would smoke, and he'd get this beautiful woman, and then you correlated. Hey, if I smoke Marlboro, I get this hot woman, and that's the problem. Then what do you do with her when she takes all your money? So you smoke to get the girl, she takes your money, goes back to Russia, and then you're fucked 10 ways from Sunday, and you're not healthy because you've been smoking. So it's, they just do such a bad job of educating. It's really terrible. And then what they allow, cigarettes should not be in the market, but I can see why it is, because North Carolina and South Carolina and all these states that make tobacco. The problem, I don't think, is the tobacco. It's the poison they put in the tobacco to make it burn quicker. So when they roll a cigarette, I think the tobacco is fine, but near the filter, they put this quick burning thing so the cigarette runs out in 10 seconds and you need another one. So that's more like the potato chips and the Oreos that you cannot have 5 Oreo. You buy that 3-column box of Oreo, that pack, pretty damn soon you've got basically a day and it's going to be gone. You're going to eat half of it Monday and the other half Tuesday, especially if there's a game on. It's gone. There's no way that you're eating 3 because it's too addictive of what they put in to make you eat more, just like potato chips, Fritos, Doritos, all that shit, Lucky Charms, the Cheerios. If you anything like that, if you notice how quickly you eat it, it never stays. It's gone in 2 days at most before that's all gone. And that's fucking ridiculous, but that's what happens. So that's what they're doing to you, but they don't tell you they're doing it to you. I got to find some holistic doctor who's in the Olympics to tell me so I can tell you. It's just insane. That's the problem. That's what's happening. So you need to be careful, but that's why you need to learn, because you need to understand. And the problem is if you listen to a Bernie Madoff or you listen to a government or a central banker or this Fink guy or a JP Morgan or these Keynesians, you're getting bad information, but you don't know you are. You're not intelligent enough to know what's the right and what's the wrong. So if somebody tells you this, you just believe it. Oh, the World Trade Center was a terrorist attack and the planes ran into. Oh, okay, I guess that's what happened. Did you listen to Lear say it's impossible for a plane to run into a trade center? No. Why not? Because you just believe what they told you. Why? Well, you got to trust them. They're the government. Why would the government lie to me? Because they want to control you and they want the power over you and they're taxing you. If you ever ask why there's income tax, no. It's a necessary evil so they can run the government into the ground. Why is the government so big? The government's supposed to be very little, very, very small. It should not be this big. There shouldn't be millions and millions of government employees. What the fuck is it so big for? What are they doing for us? Oh, they build roads. Oh, yeah, that's what I need. God, a public company could never build a road. Only the government could. I mean, Jesus Christ, this is the ridiculous part of it. Do what you're supposed to do. Keep the laws clean. Keep the laws. Keep the money clean. Keep it safe and have an army. That's it. Who doesn't invade every fucking country, just defends our country. That's your role, government. You have 4 things to do, and you're not doing any of them. The laws are corrupt. The money's shit. It's not safe, and the army's all over the fucking place, spending all this money. And you're letting Moriarty start wars and provide arms for both sides. I love that one. Like Sherlock Holmes too, where the guy he gives weapons and artillery for both sides. And that's what they're doing now with Russia. They're giving arms to Russia and bullets, and they're giving it to the Ukraine. But don't kid yourself. This war's a piece of crap. It's a bunch of bullshit. There's no service. There's not going to be, I don't know how you get a winner when Russia invaded. Now the Ukraine's kicking them back off. And what are they fighting for? Nothing. There is nothing that Russia's fighting for that they couldn't have just taken or negotiated. We'll give you $50 million. We want Crimea, or we want to use the Sea of Azov, or you know what? We want to use your port in Odessa to have the warm weather seaport. We'll pay you for that, and then we'll just have all our Russian tankers go from there to get into the Mediterranean and the Atlantic. That's all they needed to do. They needed to go to war for it. Everything's about money. So what the fuck are they doing? So this is a war that makes no sense. All right, with that said, let's go through football one more time. We got the Niners, 9.5, 42.5. We got an over team in Seattle, good offense, kind of a weak defense against the Niners, who are the A team, a very strong offense and a very strong defense. Be very hard for Seattle to win this game when they could barely beat the Rams at home to get into the playoffs. The Niners with Brock Purdy's the key. They have a quarterback. They got McCaffrey. They're two-dimensional. They run and throw and a strong defense. This should be all Frisco. As far as over, under, it's hard. Frisco's like Georgia now. They're not just a strong defense keeping the score under. They can score and play good defense. So you really want to bet Frisco more than an over under in this play. San Diego, as I pointed out, there are 1.5s and 2s and 2.5s against Jacksonville. I like the 1.5. I like San Diego plus 4.5. Trevor Lawrence sucks. Herbert's much, much better. Keenan Allen, everybody's playing for that. Bosa's even playing. We'll see how far he goes. Who does Jacksonville even have? Trevor Lawrence, we saw him get blitzed by Tennessee, and they had a hard enough time with this Tennessee quarterback, Joshua Dobbs, who sucked before. He's played 6 years. He started, 3 games. He couldn't handle the Steelers, couldn't handle the Lions, and he wasn't anything special at Tennessee in college. So what the fuck? And they had problems with them. And if they don't get a bad call where they call it a fumble instead of a pass incompletion, Tennessee wins the game. So how the fuck is Jacksonville winning this game? They're not. Take San Diego, much more balanced team, much better players. I don't know about the coaching. There's really no coaching on either team here. Peterson, I don't know. I mean, how good is he? And then San Diego's coach is terrible, but they got the better players. Buffalo, 13.5 over Miami, 43.5. Miami's basically now a Z team, no offense and a terrible defense based on Skylar Thompson. Tagliabue, they're over. You don't have a quarterback. They're going to get killed. Buffalo, it's a playoff game. They got Cincinnati next week, and then they got maybe Kansas City the week after. Look for Buffalo to get off, and their goal is the Super Bowl. They're not going to let down. They're going to really light up Miami, I feel. Over under 43.5. They should score a lot, but with Thompson, I don't think Miami scores. So therefore, I like laying the 7.5 more than I like maybe going over 37.5, even though I think Buffalo gets the over by themselves. However, if they do, they're going to cover the 7.5 because I don't see where Miami is going to score a lot. But Buffalo's defense is very weak. It's a weak point since they lost Von Miller. Don't forget that. So this week, I think we can take Buffalo, but the rest, we got to go over against Cincinnati, and that'll be it. They'll lose to Cincinnati. The Giants and Mini. The Giants are an E team. They score mid-20s, give up mid-20s. Minnesota is an over team. They score upper 20s, give up upper. A terrible defensive team. You can't bet Mini -3 because you can't trust them that they're going to stop the Giants. The Giants you can't trust because they laid down last week, and teams that lay down the final week never do anything. They could beat the Mini because the Mini's so bad. I like the over. It's 47.5. Over 41 is 21-20. Mini should score points and give up. The Giants should score. Daniel Jones, he'll hit somebody just because Minnesota's so bad. So I like the game over. I do not trust the Giants in 9 because they lay down. I can't trust Mini in 3 because their defense sucks. Baltimore, Cincinnati. Cincy 7.5, 41.5. I love Cincinnati here. I doubt Lamar Jackson plays. Not that he'd matter. Burrow and Chase are just too much here. I don't see where Baltimore can make this game competitive. I don't know if they're going to use Huntley or the third stringer, but definitely all Chase and Burrow. It's just too much. Take Cincinnati laying 1.5. Absolutely. And last but not least, Baltimore's an under team, I'm sorry, and Cincy's an A team. So Cincy's very strong offense, Chase and Burrow, very strong defense. They give up 20. Baltimore's an under team. They don't score, especially without Jackson, and they give up 19. So they have a pretty good defense. But Cincy just saw it, so Cincy knows they put up 27 on it. So I look for a similar score, 30-10 or something like that for Cincinnati. Maybe Baltimore gets a break with their defense, but that's all. So Cincy wins the game, being the A team here. Maybe go under 41.5 to 47.5, possibly. But without Jackson, I just don't see Since I see Baltimore not scoring a lot, I think their defense playing Cincy pretty tough. I see Cincy winning, and I think Cincy minus 1.5 is a stronger play. And then Dallas 2.5, 45.5 over Tampa. Dallas statistically is a B team, decent offense, good defense. Tampa's an under team. They're not really scoring. Their defense is pretty good. I think this is probably an under game with 45.5. I do like Tampa even more as a home dog. Dak Prescott, terrible quarterback, probably the worst quarterback in the playoff. I think he's worse than Sims. Maybe Lawrence is worse, and obviously the Miami quarterback's worse. He's terrible, too many pick sixes. Tampa will come to play as a home dog. This is it for Brady, so he needs it, and I just don't see Tampa an 8.5 getting blown out at home by Prescott. Not going to happen. So that's your pros. We'll get more into it as we do our stats today. Again, you really got to watch for the injuries. We know Tagovailoa is out. We believe Skylar Thompson's the starter. We just got to get the official on Lamar being out, and then that's it. So I think it's, shouldn't be. The only upset's going to be San Diego beating Jacksonville. The Giants could upset Minnie, and Tampa could upset Dallas. Your studs aren't going to lose. Buffalo, Cincy, Frisco are easy winners. Bobby, yeah. Phil, if I recall, they also okay. No, we've done that. I'm glad. No, you're not going to get expelled, Bobby. I only drink. Okay, Phil, and the border they need to actually look after. That's always nice for a supposed serious country. Well, you've got to define your country with borders. So if you're letting people in, they're not Americans. If you're tearing down statues in history, you're fucking it all up. That's communism. That's not, that's like you got the Ring of Honor in Green Bay, and there's Lombardi and Starr and Nitschke and Horning. So it'd be like taking them down. What are you doing? Then you don't have history of your team. I know that's very important in Pittsburgh, the Immaculate Reception at the airport. So would you take that down and lose your history? Why would you do that? That makes no sense. So yes, of course, Phil, they need the border corrected. Fun class, Professor. I have many interesting topics yesterday. Catch everyone. Take care, Phil. Have a nice day. Great class. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it. I appreciate the feedback. I'm trying to, at best, educate you and by making it interesting. But you're welcome. Have a nice day. I think we've covered everything pretty much. I'll look through my economics notes, but I like bringing that up. But yes, well, it's all connected. The economics, the government control, the football, the money, it's all the control is the money. So by owning gold and silver, you keep your control over yourself, and then you can help your friends and family not being controlled. That's the big thing. And you don't lose all your money in money. You have it in gold and silver. So when the banks do their shit and the money loses value and they come out with a new currency, you won't be hurt too badly. And that's really the name of the game here is the protection. And you're going to go up by the demand will raise the gold and silver, and we'll all have a nice little nest egg from that because we know the price is too low. All right, everybody, have a great day. www.teaserking.com. You want to buy the picks. I haven't put a pick out yet. I can see a couple of locks, possibly. I haven't done anything. We did win the lock on Seattle, and we did win the lock on TCU over last week. So, again, the locks are important because you bet them differently. You put them in multi-teasers. So it's very important to know where I say take Tampa, but how strong and are they a lock? And, that I'm not telling you. And that's something you really need to know because you really need to know how to bet it. So anyway, have a great day, and I will talk to you all tomorrow. www.teaserking.com. Be safe. Buy your gold and silver now. Do not wait. All right. Take care, everybody.